it's over. Do you need anything like I need you? what I think. I will drown in pink. Yeah. Paint away day and night, 6 hearts, hope I'm okay. You're alright, goodbye then if you dare. Someone new is pulling everywhere. I'm afraid to let them. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Yeah. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. I will drown in pink. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. Nothing is what I think. Yeah. 'Cause I will drown in pink.
Yo, let's go. Let's go. I already have a rock star. Best opening theme ever? All right, I'll take it. Oh, dude, 2 songs played?
I'm tired of explaining. It's too late because everyone is waiting. That's great, so why are you complaining?
You're on blue.
If I'm unsure, will
Does anybody notice?
It's my fault
Because I love you on purpose.
I'm insecure,
But just a little nervous. You're on blue. You knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you.
You found out that nobody is perfect, and you doubt that
But anything is worth it.
Look around, the world is a circus.
You're on blue. Yeah, this is me from 2003.
Are you joking?
I need some attention.
And nothing's working, so change your direction.
You're on blue. Who knows you're on blue? When every bruise looks good on you. Tell me who knows you're on blue. When every bruise looks good on you.
Why won't you hold my hand? Are you gonna
Deny this, do the best you can. I haven't got a plan, but I'm gonna survive this. That's just who I am. Let's go. You like the music? All
When
right.
you're on blue, you keep everything inside of you. You try to play it cool. Sometimes you gotta break the rules.
I don't know
why you are confused. All you need is
There's a little bit of altitude.
Yeah.
All right.
This is it. I'm
Tired of explaining. It's too late because everyone is waiting.
That's great. So why are you complaining?
You're on blue.
If I'm unsure,
Will anybody notice? It's my fault because I love love you on purpose. I'm insecure, but just a little nervous. You're on blue. Hey, let's go.
Starting to enjoy the view. I'm all about the attitude. Knows you're blue. When every bruise
Let's go.
looks good on you.
Tell me who knows you're on blue. Every bruise looks good on you. Dude, what a song, bro. Shit, yeah, that was my band, number 3 breakdown. In order of appearance on those songs, you heard, the first song you heard was from Full Blown Red, which was my band in 1999, 98, 99 that moved here to Portland. Then you heard the song Drown, which was from my solo project, The Wanteds. That was from my first EP back in 2003 as well. And then you heard a song from number 3 breakdown. Okay, let's go, Will. Which was 2002, 2003. That was a 2-piece band here in Portland. Very good band. Loved that band. I've actually been trying to get a hold of the drummer. I've been trying to figure out where he is, but he has no digital footprint because he was a really good drummer. He was a young guy at the time. He was like 21. I think just turned 21 or something back then. Do I still perform? I do. I perform politics every day. Do I perform music? I do not. I don't even play, really. I mean, occasionally I will jam with my son, but for the most part, I gave that up, man. I gave up music and moved on. And I don't really have time, you know? I literally spend all day doing political videos trying to build this channel. So I do not have time. Will, let's go. I did not have time to be playing music as well. Sadly, right? But here we are. Dude, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Benny Johnson. Dude, I feel like we need to talk about Benny Johnson because what is going on with Benny Johnson right now is part of, I don't know, this alternate reality that's happening with Donald Trump. And I think it's very important, not Benny Johnson, but what is happening with him and around his channel, because I had not noticed it, okay? Somebody put a video from David Pakman in the chat that I looked at a few seconds of the video, and then I started doing a little bit of investigating because there has been unusual activity with Benny Johnson's YouTube channel that has got to be bot activity, which I think is significant because we're looking at a time where Donald Trump is sort of reshaping reality with a bunch of fake voices, firing the head of the labor board, right? They're releasing fake statistics. They stopped collecting inflation statistics. They're literally releasing fake labor statistics and inflation numbers that they're just making up. And so Benny Johnson becoming the point man for the Republican regime, for the Trumpist regime, he is now the de facto point man. Remember when they were doing damage control around Epstein? They flew him to Washington and he was interviewing all these people, and he's literally botting his YouTube channel with the largest growth in Q2, but it's all happened in the last 3 months. We're going to watch the David Pakman video, and we're going to look at the numbers because I dipped into Social Blade, and when you look at the numbers, you realize, wow, this guy who was busted for plagiarism twice, took Russian money, involved in a lot of lying scandals. He is, in fact, botting his YouTube channel. And so, I mean, we should probably get this motherfucker banned, right? That's what I'm thinking. But so we're going to look at that. We are also going to look at that Brian Tyler Cohen video about the Supreme Court because this is really important, guys. There's a Supreme Court ruling that's going to try to flip the Voting Rights Act. Okay, they're going to try and gut the Voting Rights Act with this Supreme Court decision, which is crazy. This is something we definitely need to look at because this is super dangerous. And I hadn't even realized this, but it is, I read about it earlier today, and I'm glad that Brian Tyler Cohen did a video. And yes, we are halfway to the dance goal, right? When we get 10 teal or whatever, light blue, whatever, the $2 or higher super chats, and it is super chats only, not stickers. But when we get those, we will have a dance party to our favorite song by that wonderful Swedish artist. But yeah, so I don't want to spend too much time on Benny, but let's go into Benny today. All right, because first off, let's peruse what's going on here. Now, if we look at Benny Johnson, okay, if we go to Benny Johnson's YouTube here, all right, so the key here to look at Benny Johnson is look at his YouTube, guys. 5.48 million subscribers. Now, what's crazy about this, let's go. Anne-Marie, let's go. What's crazy about this is this was literally 3 million 3 months ago, guys. This has increased 2.5 million in 3 months. And what's more, it increased 1 million like over the previous year, which is crazy. Without a greater, his videos have not seen outrageous numbers. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. There are explosive growth moments with YouTube. I literally just went through one myself. It is not uncommon to blow up over a month and have like a 20% increase in followers, right? Like I literally just went from 42,000 to 50,000 subs in 2 weeks, okay? And it was a big blow up, okay? Those do happen. 20% increases like that, sometimes even 50% increases, but they don't usually happen when you're in the millions. But what's really interesting about Benny Johnson is when I went to Social Blade, okay, and we looked at Social Blade. This is Benny Johnson's Social Blade stats, okay? All right, and let's look at his monthly subscribers versus his monthly views, okay? This is where it gets really crazy because as you see, his channel for the last 2 years, guys, has been fairly consistent. On a big month, he would get, 170,000, 210,000 during election month subs, right? 200,000, 170,000, 80,000. It's all been really consistent. Then after the turn of the year, it dropped. Look at that, 30,000, 40,000, 70,000, 60,000. But then in May, in April, in May, this is March. Then in April, May, and June, look at what happened. 500,000, 790,000, 900,000 in June, okay? 340,000 in July. Look at that spike. But here's where it gets weird, guys. Look at his views, okay? His views actually went down in May, June, and July. Okay, they went down, and they went down significantly while this blew up. Okay, right? Because if you look in March of 2024, he got 206 million views. Okay, in March of 2024, and that same month, 206 million views. He got 130,000 subscribers. In June, he got 109 million views. He got half as many views as March of 2024, 109 million, and oh my God, 900,000 subscribers, almost 9 times the subscribers with half the views. Dude, that is not it, guys. That is not real. That is incredibly unreal. But here's where it gets wild, okay? Because if you look at his bot traffic here, right? Right? Look at this. This person says, right? It says, Benny Johnson's channel has exploded. Let me find the guy here. There was somebody who posted it. Let's go, baby. We're one away. Dude, Will really wants this dance party. I was just looking at something. Hold on. Let me find it. I was literally just looking at this. Here it is. All right, here it is. This is the one I was looking at. So here's the chart we have, okay, where there's our little chart that shows Benny Johnson with 2.2 pendulous. Let's go, baby. Oh, by the way, I do want to ask somebody's question. Somebody asked earlier what instrument I played when I played music. So I was the singer guitar player for my bands until the Wanteds, and then during the Wanteds, starting in 2003, I played all the instruments on the Wanteds records. When you go like look at Let Go Afterglow, the album on Spotify and Apple Music, that was all me. But I sang and played guitar regularly in the bands. But so this is what's crazy, because now they produce this stat here of the fastest growing political and political adjacent YouTube by net new subscribers in Q2. And it shows Benny Johnson just out, like way out in front of everybody. Okay. More subscribers than Fox, MSNBC, Midas Touch. And I mean, like almost 4 times as many. But if you look at it, dude, his views are way down. In May, he only had 83 million views. And yet he 800,000 subscribers. No chance, dude. Back here in July of 2024, he had 227 million views, which is triple the views of May. And if you look at July of 2024, he only had 160,000. Okay. So you see what's going on here? There is some serious botting happening with this guy. Okay. Serious botting. Now, again, why is this important? Why do we care if a YouTuber bots? Because we don't care if a YouTuber bots. But what we do care about is when somebody who was a Russian asset, who was fired multiple times for plagiarism, who has a history of being a crook, a liar, and a sneak, and spreading disinformation, when he is artificially inflating his reach in order to like create some faux like idea that he is the biggest YouTuber out there, the most trusted voice on the internet, the most flocked to voice on the internet, while he is simultaneously becoming the mouthpiece of the Trump regime. This is very significant because this guy is a liar. This guy is a disinformation spreader. And this guy is being astroturfed into being a voice of Trumpism, which is going to start presenting an alternate reality, like they're doing with inflation. They stopped collecting inflation data in May. They're literally making up the numbers. After the recent jobs report and the correction to the last couple of months, they've done the same thing with the labor board. He fired the head of the labor board yesterday, okay? Because he's going to install somebody who's just going to start lying about the jobs numbers. And we are about to enter the second wave of Trumpism, where Trump and his administration goes on TV every night saying, you know what, guys? Jobs are up. Inflation is gone. The country is taking in record income, but it's all going to be lies. In the meantime, you're going to go to a grocery store and a tomato is $12. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Right? And we're going to start living in this alternate reality where up is down and down is up and yes means no and no means yes. And then they're going to start, They're going to tell us that Trump won the next election with that he can't even run in with, 92% of the vote, right? And you know what I mean? Next thing you know, Kim Jong-un's going to be coming over to your house, giving you a fucking prostate massage with the cattle prod. Okay? Dude. Jesus. This is fucked up, bro. Comrade Johnson. All right, we did get a dance party, though. So we're going to dance party, and then we're going to watch that David Pakman video and see what he has to say about this. Because this is pretty alarming. Now, I did on this post, I did say his vids aren't getting any more views than normal. He is botting the shit out of his channel. What say you, Team YouTube? Right? I did tag Team YouTube, all right? Because, something should be done about this, right? Something's got to be done about this, man. I am so tired of these right-wing fakeries, man. You know what I'm saying? Dude, let's go, baby. But you guys kicked it off nice, dude. Google's motto, do no evil. Yeah, was that Google's motto? I'm not really buying that was Google's motto, boss. It sounds good in theory, but I don't know. Wonder if people who barely pay attention to politics forget more, or us who are inundated. Yeah, so, I mean, dude, I don't know what it's like for people that are, like, barely follow politics. You know what I'm saying? I honestly don't know what it's like for them. I don't. I've never been a person who barely followed politics, so I don't really know what their experience is. But I will say this. It's been fairly recently where I noticed, you know what I noticed, guys? It's been fairly recently where I noticed that there's a culture shift with administrations. And I hadn't really noticed that when I was younger, but now I noticed it. Like, for example, Donald Trump wins the presidency, and what you're going to see is like movies about Jesus, and you're going to see movies that are more like patriotic American action films, right? And you're going to see like stores fucking catering to, that the culture of the right there's like a weird culture shift where depending on the administration in office, the culture kind of like shifts a little bit to sort of feed the dominant political power. And I hadn't really noticed that. And I mean, it wasn't so bad back in 2016. I felt like in 2016, there was still a lot of fight left in society, but we really got weakened by the pandemic. The isolation of the pandemic allowed a lot of propaganda to really take hold, in particular with, some of the younger, I feel like some of the younger generation really got like hit, particularly young men. They got pretty heavily propagandized during the pandemic, and we're starting to see the results of that, which is crazy. I don't know what the next generation is going to be like. I know that now there's battles, right? You see shit coming, like YouTube is fighting, about how they're going to handle young viewers, right? Young viewers are like, there's starting to be a clash with governments demanding that young people not get pipelined on social media and shit. And so there's a lot of fighting going on with that. And, schools are starting to outlaw cell phones. And so, it's going to be really interesting to see what the next 10 years bring, right? I'm really intrigued about the next 10 years. But you guys ready? You ready for dance party? All right. Dude. So I tried something new tonight where I'm using Chrome for my browser, but I'm using the chat in Microsoft Edge, which is like, hopefully the chat doesn't fucking blow up. Now I think I'm going to avoid the chat, like, getting Gen Alpha won't let us down. Yeah, I hope not. I hope not. You know, it's hard though. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. You just don't know, because a lot of it has to do with the, you know, the parents, right? Like what are the parents? What are the millennial parents? How are they raising their kids? Because one thing I discovered through this past election is my generation, Gen X, profoundly disappointing. Gen X men, I think, are the most disappointing voter bloc in the whole voter bloc, right? They are. Dude, Gen X men were like the biggest pro-Trump group, and it was terrible when we grew up. Society was horrible when we grew up. It was like, dude, I can't believe that men my age have not healed and like done work on generational trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm blown away by it, right? I am blown away by it, because like our like white dudes of my generation, it was just unpleasant, man. The 80s, dude, it's horrible. Like going to middle school in the early 80s was fucking terrible. Society was terrible. It was oppressive. Like a lot of us committed suicide and shit because of all the oppression that was applied to men our age. You know, false messaging, false, you know, toxic masculinity and shit. And so a whole bunch of us healed that. Like all my friends, right? All my close friends are like dudes who healed that shit and you know, did work on that. But a lot of us didn't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was crazy materialistic. And not only was it materialistic, but you know what it was, guys? Is it was like cutthroat. It was like cutthroat is what it was. Where we were raised to like fuck friendship, fuck loyalty, fuck everything. Just fucking, you know, succeed. Get to the top. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who you fuck over. That's kind of how we learned. And not healthy. You know what I'm saying? Not healthy at all. Just trample people for that success. Dude, profoundly disappointing. Right? Dude, yeah, no, the Wolf of Wall Street culture, 100%. All right, you guys ready? Let's go. It was mine. All right, let's go, baby. Here we go. Here we go. We shall dance. Yeah, we got early dance party. Let's go, baby. Little deja vu.
They have a lot to say, but I don't know. Then
shit, bro. Woo! Oh, shit. Let's go. Dude. That was a fucking mouthful, bot. Holy shnikes. Woo! Woo! Let's go.
Red, red, who's your lover now? Red, red, who's it all about?
Oh yeah, baby.
Psychosis friend,
Down and begin again.
his eyes are broken,
And I don't feel the same. Red.
who's your lover now? Red,
Woo!
red, who's it all about? Me, I grew, and I knew.
Let's go. Dude, Will. Let's go, baby. The big 20. Let's fucking go, boss. Dude, enjoy this guitar solo. Here we go. But no, you chose to be red. Be them. Dude, let's go. Thank you, Will. I'm red, yeah, I'm red, yeah. Let's go! Dude, let's go. Chief, thank you, boss. Appreciate that membership, brother. For sister. Dude, thank you too, Chris. Appreciate you, boss. Members. Woo! All right, we're gonna bring it down now. We're gonna bring it down. Yeah, no, that is a good guitar solo. It's one of my favorite. Chester Bennington, dude. Chester was he was a vibe, dude. I think it's always unfortunate when people fucking pass away like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, when they fucking take their own life. It's hard, man. Shit is hard, bro. All right. So let's watch that fucking, yeah, I know. Dude, let's watch that video, shall we? I want to watch that David Pakman video to see what he says about Benny botting. Again, guys, right? Like the main problem with me and this sort of botting shit and this false shit with stuff like the Benny Johnson is the fact that we're heading into a realm of Trump anti-reality, right? And that is really hard. That is really hard to live in fucking, you know, an alternate reality. This is something, guys, that when you say, like, how do dictatorships happen? Okay, I know we talk a lot, but one of the primary ways that dictatorships happen is when the control of information ends up in the hands of this tiny few. And so then it's like the people are just going along with the information. You know what I'm saying? They're trusting the information. And we are unfortunately now heading into a realm where for the first time in the history of this country in my lifetime, we are heading into a realm where there's like unreliable information. The people in every corner of government are all known for unreliable information, right? Like RFK Jr., dude, he's making medical decisions based on hunches and quack data, right? Kristi Noem is an adulterer and a liar who fucking lied about Kim Jong-un and went on TV and just lied to reporters' faces. She's a stone cold liar, okay? So is Trump, 30,000 lies, Hegseth, Sean Duffy. These are all like, they're all public speakers. They're actors, reality TV people that just tell nothing but lies. You know what I'm saying? There is like all the people that acquire reliable data and scientific information are being systematically cleaned out of government. So we're heading into a danger zone, guys, where pretty soon they're going to get on TV every day telling us how America has never been better. But you're going to go outside your door and you're going to see like, wow, man, there's more and more homeless people. My groceries are 30% more. My electricity bill just went up, right? Gas is going up. Like, you know what I mean? It's just going to get crazy, man. The disinformation is going to be outrageous. All right, so let's watch this Benny video, or this David Pakman video. I want to see what he says about Benny. I know Natalie put the link in chat. Maybe I'll just grab it out of Discord. That'll probably be easier. Give me one sec here. Shit is fucking crazy, man. Whew. Yeah, the amount of homeless people. Yeah, no, I know, Blaze. You're not wrong, right? I mean, we get it here too. It's heartrending. I mean, there's a fairly significant homeless population in Portland, and we're pretty good to them for the most part, but still, it makes me so sad, right? Like there's a guy, I know his name. His name is Paul. He's a homeless dude that is like, has been in our neighborhood for several years, okay? I've taken the guy to pizza places and bought him pizza and shit. And like, he's like losing fingers now. When I see him, I have not seen him in a little while, but the last time we saw him, he was missing some fingers. I mean, dude, it's like, it's just hard. It's hard to see that and be so like powerless to know that like, I can't do anything about it. There's nothing I can do for him, you know, but just watch him degenerate and fall apart and like die right in front of me. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, the thing that I try to do is, you know, I try to just, I don't look away, right? Like when I see them, I still talk to them, maintain eye contact. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just fucking pretend like they're not there. You know, like it's tempting to just look away sometimes because you don't want to see the horrors, but man, it's hard. And it's hard because Elon Musk spent $44 billion to buy Twitter. But like, dude, he could have easily fixed that problem, right? Easily. He could have fixed that problem in the United States. Homelessness and hunger. Like he could have easily fixed them for $44 billion. He would have been a hero, right? But no, he bought a social media network so I can get 100 bot messages a day from fucking, you know, AI sex bots. You know what I'm saying? Dude, right? And I'm like, bro, what a world we're living in. All right, you ready? Let's watch this video. Let's see what Pakman has to say about Benny Johnson.
I want to talk to you today about the most suspicious thing that I've ever seen on YouTube. And it has everything to do with a YouTuber named 𝗫🍌 Johnson. Now, I published a piece on Substack about this where I go into even more detail, but let me explain what this is about. I've been publishing political content to YouTube for a very long time.
Dude, he's
if you dig way
like
back,
15
you'll find
years.
videos from 2009. They make me cringe, yes. But after 15 years on this platform, you learn a few of the things that are just reality. Number one, video performance is unpredictable. You think a video will do well, it doesn't. You think a video will do okay, it blows up. You just sometimes don't know. Number two, if you talk about politics, half your audience will hate you, at least the ones that comment. And this is the key part for us. New subscribers track closely with video views. Unless
100%. 100%.
something weird is going on. To get more new subscribers, you have to have more video views. If your video views go down, you're going to have fewer new subscribers.
Always.
Except if something very weird is happening. And this week, writer and researcher 𝗙𝗪𝗏 published a piece called "This Right-Wing YouTuber is Having a Moment." The YouTuber in question is 𝗫🍌 Johnson. The headline stat is that in Q2 of this year, 𝗫🍌 Johnson's YouTube channel gained 2.2 million subscribers.
No way.
Making it by far the fastest growing politics-related channel of the second quarter, by far. Now, why is this unusual? It's unusual because the growth in subscribers for 𝗫🍌 Johnson does not match growth in views. In fact,
yeah, his views went down. I mean, we looked at it here. His views went down for that period in question to the lowest his views have been since July of 2023. And back then he had getting 50,000 subs a month back in July of 2023. So he went down to that level of views from 2 years ago. But look at his subscribers, 1 million a month. No, Benny. He's back on that Russian money, bro. He's back on that Russian. Whoa! Benny!
in fact, his views appear to be down slightly. Now, before we go deeper, remember who we're dealing with here. 𝗫🍌 Johnson was caught up in this 2024 scandal where it was revealed that he was indirectly receiving Russian money through a company called Tenet. Johnson and others said we had no idea the money came from Russia. The payment rates were wildly above market rate, in some cases $400,000 a month. Some even had six-figure signing bonuses. So this is not someone with a spotless track record. Now let's get back to the data. Normally, more views means more subscribers. It's not exact, but that's the pattern. Here's a look at my own channel, about 3.3 million subscribers right now. This is actual data from my YouTube analytics, and you can see clearly more views, more subscribers. It's predictable. That's how it works.
It's
now
exactly
look at
how
𝗫🍌
it works.
Johnson's data from Q2. The arrows show huge subscriber growth, but views that are either flat or declining. This is weird.
Way
Now, compare
down.
this to 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is one of the fastest growing progressive YouTube channels right
See?
now. Similar subscriber
Subs
numbers.
up, views up.
But their views,
Views down, subs
match
down.
their subscriber growth.
Views up,
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has
subs
had
up.
high views, high subscribers. That's what you would expect. So what's going on here? There are really only a few scenarios where you see subscriber numbers and view numbers separate, decouple. Number one, if you say something truly awful, like so disgusting that it encourages your existing subscribers to unsubscribe, you could see that as the views go up of this disgusting thing you said,
You lose a whole
your net
bunch.
subscribers go down because
Yeah.
people go, I got to unsubscribe.
It
This is-
does that in the negative way. I've had that happen. I've had that after Andrew Tate. I watched all my fucking gaming subscribers. All my channels went down. I lost 5,000 on Twitter. I lost 20,000 on YouTube, literally in like 2 months when my views were through the roof. I was like, it was insane.
is absolutely disgusting. But that's the opposite of what we're seeing. We're not seeing high views and subscribers going down.
And I didn't even say anything disgusting. I just told a fucking misogynist rapist to go fuck himself.
We're seeing low views and subscribers going up. And that's what gets us to the most likely scenario, which is some kind of artificial subscriber growth. And this is where things get complicated. Artificial subscriber growth might be completely legal paid ad campaigns. You run YouTube ads or Google ads. They're targeting subscriptions to your YouTube channel. You could do that. It's really inefficient for political channels. I don't know anybody who actually does it because the targeting isn't great. It's just really expensive. You've got to pay a crazy amount of money for a relatively small number of subscribers. However, if someone else is paying for that, if you had a super PAC, a foreign government, some propaganda agency, a wealthy ally, the logic changes. They're not worried about profit. They're after influence. So they might just pour money into inflating your channel subscribers through paid campaigns.
Interesting. That is crazy, right? To think is another foreign government, right? Is another foreign government like Russia again pumping $50 million into subscriber campaigns to inflate the size of his channel? Right? I mean, could be. Definitely could be.
Just to boost your reach. Now, there's other scenarios like maybe you're using some kind of technical trick, some auto-subscribe pop-up.
But Benny's views are not going up. That's the thing that, like, we do have to notice is his views are not escalating.
Somewhere or embedded subscriber links or stuff like that. YouTube's terms of service don't allow that, and that stuff tends to get shut down. And finally, you could do what's called subscriber farming. This is probably the most concerning. There's a sort of black market for YouTube subscribers. You can buy them through click farms, hacked accounts, and in other ways. It's classic manipulation. These are like the tactics that Russia's Internet Research Agency does. You fake the numbers to make it seem as though you have a lot more influence. The fake subscribers are low quality. Over time, they tend to get purged out.
Yeah, but what happens is you get reported like this, where a chart comes out showing you're the biggest political YouTuber on the planet, right? And then like, oh, right? They try to sell that. And then, right, they try to sell that. That becomes a fucking selling point, that fake notoriety.
But in the short term, they can really boost your clout by showing a really high subscriber number. So what is Benny Johnson actually doing? I have no idea. I want to be clear. I don't have evidence that any of the things I mentioned are happening on his channel. After 15 years of being on YouTube, I have never seen subscriber growth like this without a spike in views. I've talked to other creators. None of them have ever seen it.
It's non-existent. You don't. I mean, I've not been doing YouTube for 15 years. I've been doing it for 6 though. And I've done it with a successful channel. And then I've watched that channel die off a little bit after I became like persona non grata. And I rebuilt it after that to get my fucking plaque. And now I'm on my halfway to a second plaque. And I'm telling you though, you will never see a situation where your views get cut in half and your subscribers increase tenfold. Not a chance, guys. I mean, it can happen the other way. Like he said, your views can spike and you lose a bunch if you're getting canceled. But having your views cut in half and your subscribers go like 10x, not a chance, dude. That is just never going to happen.
Whatever is going on, the implications are big, and it's bigger than YouTube. If this is a coordinated third-party campaign, it raises really serious questions about influence operations manipulating platform metrics. If this is an algorithmic exploit, it would mean YouTube's defenses are weaker than we thought. That impacts everybody.
Yeah.
And if this is paid acquisition for political gain, even legally, it could trigger a new arms race for artificial growth, and that will warp the field for independent voices, small creators, and those who don't have the pockets to generate artificial growth.
Yeah, see, again, this brings me to a greater problem with the online world, is just how gameable it is, okay? It's so gameable. It's so fake. Like you saw the report on Twitter, right? I don't know if you saw this, but they did a bot traffic report, okay? Where they looked at, okay, this is data provided to Mashable pertaining to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. In terms of fake traffic, no other platform came close to Twitter. So what they did was, out of 40 million visits from TikTok, less than 3% were found to be fake. Okay. And Facebook had 8.1 million visits, 2% were fake. Instagram had 68,700 visits and 0.73% were fake. But then they looked at Twitter, and Twitter was 75.85% fake. Dude, 75% of Twitter was fake traffic. Okay, now, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I see this a lot where people will argue endlessly. I get this a lot. I have a lot of replies that get like 5,000 views, okay, or 10,000 views. It's pretty common, like because of the number of followers I have and my activity, I get a lot of traffic. When I get into replies of bigger accounts, my shit gets seen, okay? And now I'm starting to have tweets get 5, 10, and 20,000 views as well, because my growth is coming around. For years, I was losing followers, but now I've lost probably 10 grand and gained like 15 grand new ones, okay? So I'm growing again. I've been in the positive. But I see a lot of reply activity. I go and get in the replies, and a reply gets 10,000 views, and there will just be hundreds or thousands of replies. And sometimes people go back and forth for days, but they go back and forth just regurgitating like talking points. And it's almost like they're those chat GPT driven bots that will just continue to counter with point after point after point. Like they never stop. You know what I mean? And so it's crazy that they estimate like 75% of the data they found in Twitter was just bot traffic. I don't know about you guys, but my DMs are filled. Like I get 100 DMs every day from girl porn accounts, like girl AI porn accounts with some girl saying, "Hey, why are you ignoring me? Where'd you go? Did you vanish?" You know what I'm saying? It's like I get those hundreds of them. Dude, it's crazy. It's fucking outrageous, dude. They're like, let me show you, dude. They're fucking, I delete most of them, right? But if you look at my fucking message requests, like, look at them, dude. Like, here, can I tell you something? Hi, they send photos. Hi, political. Hello, for some reason I can't message you. Hi, send a photo, right? Hi there, lovely to meet you. Dude, I get like easily 50 of these a day. I usually delete them. Sometimes if they send me a good photo, I'll actually keep the photo, right? I mean, if the photo's good, I don't mind adult content. So when they send me a good beaver shot, I'll keep it. If it's a good one, I'm like, all right, whatever. But, you know, dude, it's crazy though. It is so bot driven. And I don't know what else, if you've noticed, but there's something else that has happened, guys. Have you noticed this? So what is starting to happen is there's a new type of bot that comes into your replies, and what they do is they reply and then they block you, okay? It leaves a reply. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a bot that will come into your thing and it'll display a link or give some information, but then it blocks you, so you can't call it out as a bot or you can't refute the activity. Like, let me show one. Let me show you one. Like, for example, let me show you an example. It's a new type of Twitter bot that has happened. So let me go to a post that recently got a lot of views. Okay, like this one. Let me see if, all right, so I didn't hide any replies, but let me see if, sometimes it's the ones that didn't get a lot. Okay, like, let me see. This one will probably get one. Right here. Here's one. Okay, look at this. So here's the thing. It's a post about 𝗙𝗪𝗓. And then this says right here, it says, "The future thinking crew seems pretty selective. Reminds me of when Isaac Nelson called out the same vibe. Spot on as usual." right? But when you click this guy's profile, it blocked me. 0 followers, 0 following, but it blocked me the minute it left that comment. So that way I can't leave a comment under it, right? Or I can't, right? You can't, and sometimes they link to people. It's linked to a suspended account, right? But then other times it actually leaves a message like saying, you know, Donald Trump is actually innocent here, and here's the data to prove it. But then you can't post under it because it blocks you the minute it leaves the message. And this is their new thing. It's a new way that the bots are able to leave propaganda behind, and then the user can't refute it because it blocks the user the instant it leaves a message. It's wild, right? And then presumably, I don't know if the platform, I mean, you can get rid of it if it's your thing. Like I can hide the reply. Okay, so I can hide the reply and block it. But if it was in my replies, if you're in the replies, you can't hide it. I can only hide it under my tweet, right? So under one of my tweets, I can hide it and make it go away. But if you're in a reply thread, they go into the reply thread, they reply to somebody with some piece of propaganda about Trump or Epstein, and then they block the user, and so then the user can't hide it, right? And can't respond to it. Other people could respond to it. But it's like a weird fucking layer of preventing you from being able to counteract the activity. And dude, it's crazy. It's a brand new thing. I just started seeing this in like the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's a brand new technique. Now, I don't know if you get blocked by a lot of accounts, if that affects your standing or something. Like if a whole bunch of accounts bot you and block you, if eventually you're going to be like lowered in the search results or whatever. I don't know. I don't think so thus far, because so far, like my Twitter has been banging lately. Like I've noticed a significant amount of growth with tweets that getting like thousands of views. I've had a bunch of tweets go viral in the last month or two, right? And yeah, you can still see the tweets, but you can't reply to them. But yeah, so that shit is wild. That is a new thing. So yeah, so this Benny Johnson stuff, I think is really significant in the context of fake social media and in the context of, you know, of him being busted for plagiarism, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, dude, he was sacked for plagiarism 11 years ago, 41 instances of plagiarism, right? When he worked for BuzzFeed and he got fired, right? And then there was, he went to the Independent Journal Review, right? And he got fired at the Independent Journal Review. Okay, again, the viral blogger who's gotten himself in trouble numerous times for plagiarism is out at the Independent Journal Review. After 2 years, they moved forward in a different direction. And why? Because he was violating their company ethics again. Okay, Business Insider reported his behavior violated company ethics. He was demoted, and then he got the boot from there. So this guy has been fucking sneaking and being a fucking clown. You know what I'm saying? He has. This guy has been sneaking around and being a clown and just being a goon all over the map, right? He's had multiple instances, and of course, you know, culminating in that Russian money, right? There he is. Benny Johnson, okay? Fucking U.S. influencers, covertly hired. But again, these guys, they were covertly hired, but it was more obvious than you think, okay? It was more obvious than you think, because when you look at the guys, there's the three right there: Dave Rubin, Benny Johnson, Tim Pool. When you look at the guy who supposedly was paying them the money, okay, that guy had no internet footprint. He was supposedly a billionaire that was really into like social issues and a real activist, but you look him up and he didn't exist online. And yet they were like, oh, they took millions of dollars from this huge influencer person that just didn't exist. Dude, wild stuff, man. Wild stuff.
Now, if this is straight up fraud, bots purchase subscribers, that would mean it's still pretty easy to game the system. And the fallout isn't just views or clout. It's media coverage. It's look at the growth of this channel. He must be saying important things. Well, is he, or is there some kind of artificial subscriber acquisition here? So this is by far the most suspicious thing I've seen on YouTube. And it hurts all of the progressive channels because many of us don't have the third party or whatever it is that is just dumping money into artificial growth. So what can we do? Number one, if you see something that doesn't make sense, report it to the platform that you're seeing it on.
Yeah.
And number two, this is free. Just make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channels of the creators you actually support. We estimate that even though we have 3.25 million subscribers on YouTube, every month there's another 4 million people watching the videos who don't subscribe. If you are in that 4 million, if you watch the videos but don't subscribe, consider hitting the subscribe button.
Oh, dude, look at him. See, this is the part of Pacman that I don't like, okay? I like Pacman's commentary. I like most of his progressive values. But what I don't like is every time Pacman does a video, there's some like, can I get something out of you, right? Will you go join my paid Substack? They're going to deport me. Please go join my paid Substack because they can't silence me there. Or like here, this thing about the way you can really help is I need more subscribers on my channel. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I hate that shit, bro. Dude, he's always begging for something. Dude, you know what I mean? Dude, I like him too, but I don't like that shilling, you know? But again, I'm not a good capitalist. So I guess, you know, I'm not a good capitalist. I'm a terrible fucking capitalist. And, well, yeah, no, he's not as bad as TYT. I mean, dude, at least he's a good commentator, right? He's a consistent commentator. You know, he's not a degenerate like TYT where they're sniffing the ass crack of every MAGA person. You know what I'm saying? But I probably should get better at that. You know, I probably should. But I don't like that shit. Excuse me. All right. But, dude, yeah. The David Pacman sweater collection and Miller's Outpost. Dude, that's so funny. Dude, the David Pacman sweater collection at Miller's Outpost, winter of '88. Dude, that's so accurate, Daniel. Oh my God, Daniel just called out what he's wearing like to the T, dude. It's like Old Navy style, dude. Pacman's got that Old Navy look. Miller's Outpost. Oh my God, dude, I haven't heard that name. Does that place still exist? I literally have not heard that name in like 30 years, boss. That is just old school, dude. Miller's Outpost. Winter collection, '88. Oh, fuck, bro. That was just too good. Too good. Oh, man. Dude, that shit was fucking hilarious. The 𝗙ście𝗶𝗹𝗀 collection. All right. So, dude, yeah, no, we're going to make some Benny Johnson videos. Dude, we are. Dude, Benny it's just a shirt. It's not just a shirt, Layla. Sorry. It's not just a shirt, man. It is a fashion statement of yesteryear. Dude, I can't really judge people's clothing though, because I dress like a fucking gutter punk, wear my pajamas most of the time, never even leave the house. You know what I'm saying? I don't. But dude, I think for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the problem for me with this, what Pacman was talking about, what we talked about tonight with Benny Johnson, where I believe this stuff becomes relevant is the fact that right now we are witnessing an astroturfing of like a fake MAGA reality where these MAGA shitheads are trying to literally rewrite reality. You know what I'm saying? They're like blaming shit that couldn't possibly have anything to do with Joe Biden on Joe Biden. They're like saying, you see their name in the data, and they're like, no, Obama put it there. Somebody else put it there. No, we've just created a whole bunch of jobs, even though the job numbers are tanking. He's like, gas is $2 a gallon. You go to the gas station, it says $4.50, right? But they're literally like just lying through their fucking teeth. You know what I'm saying? It is becoming that North Korea style, you know, alternate reality that they are trying to sell us while they fucking buffalo us about what's actually happening. Now, we got to go watch this BTC video though, guys, because this thing is really important, okay? The Supreme Court, there's a Supreme Court ruling that is coming up, guys, okay? That is fucking pretty fucking important, okay? That's all I can say is this Supreme Court decision is, you know, Brian Tyler Cohen says it's a 5-alarm fire. You know, a lot of times Brian Tyler Cohen, like all of us YouTubers, we really ramp up the fucking, you know, we ramp up the intensity of the titles. You have to do it. It's a game that, Pendulous, let's go, baby. But you unsubscribe, stop your monthly membership. I get it, man. I get it. You got to make those decisions with your pocketbook. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that. But so all of us YouTubers have to play the game of dramatizing with our titles. Okay? It's just part of the game. You have to dramatize. If you want views, you got to dramatize the titles. You have to get in there and you have to play that algorithm game, because the YouTube algorithm is something that if you want to grow, you got to do it. Okay? You want to stick to as truthful as you can, but it is a required. No, see, clickbait is when you say, oh, this is about the Supreme Court, and then the fucking video is about fucking, you know, Logan Paul. To me, that's clickbait. When the video is not at all. If you say, oh my God, Trump gets arrested, and then in the video, Trump doesn't get arrested, that's clickbait. But if you say like bombshell, and the piece of information is a piece of information that everybody kind of already knew, but it was recent in the news cycle, that's not clickbait. That is like over dramatization in titles, okay? Which is something that you have to do for the algorithm, right? The algorithm picks what fucking goes, right? But anyway, my point about this is when Brian Tyler Cohen here says 5-alarm fire, he's not fucking dramatizing, okay? This is not a dramatization. You know what I'm saying? This is not a dramatization. This Supreme Court ruling is insane, okay? Because, and they haven't ruled, but the case is going there right now. Basically, the Voter Rights Act, okay? The Voter Rights Act said with the Voting Rights Act, you are allowed to take race into account while you draw your maps, which means you can create districts that, like, you know, if you have 15% of your 20% of your population is black, you're allowed to draw your districts so the black representation is 20% of the representatives in your state, okay? You're allowed to do that to make sure that the black voters are being represented fairly, okay? You're allowed to use race as a mechanism of creating maps, okay? And this is really important, okay? It's really important to be able to make sure that racial groups are represented fairly. If 50% of your population is your state is Hispanic, you don't want 10% of your congressional reps to be representing Hispanic people. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? And so that Voting Rights Act was actually very good. It allowed states to protect the voting rights of all the minority groups in the state. Now, they're trying to overturn it. They're trying to make it so you cannot use race in determining voter barriers. You just can't do it, right? You can't protect the voting rights of the black people in your state. That's what's at question here, is them basically taking that right away, that right of being able to protect the voting rights of minorities, and say, no, you cannot. You're not allowed to do that. Good night. Love you, baby. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is crazy. And Pendulous, yeah, I understood. I understood what you were saying, right? When in your last message, I got it, that it was his attitude. But thank you. Let's go, baby. Appreciate you, boss. You know what I mean? So they want to fucking this, and I mean, the Heritage Foundation and these white supremacist sort of Christian nationalist groups have been after the Civil Rights Act and the Voter Rights Act for a while, okay? Because if they can do away with the Voter Rights Act, they can then disenfranchise all the people of color. If they do away with the Civil Rights Act, they can reestablish things that would be, you know, like they can reestablish like segregation without necessarily making it the law. And dude, you don't have to be sorry, man. You got to fucking follow your principles there, Pendulous. You know what I'm saying? I like that you stick to your guns, boss. Don't ever apologize for fucking, like, you know, staying true to yourself. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so that's fucking, this is a very significant ruling, guys. All right, so let's watch this video. This is a big deal, because what's going to happen here is if the Supreme Court overturns this section of the Voter Rights Act, then what that's going to mean is all of the states that, you know, because there are districts that represent black voters in every state, okay? Even the states that try to disenfranchise them, like Alabama and Mississippi, they've been kind of forced to create maps that allow minority groups to be represented. But if this Supreme Court decision happens, okay, if this Supreme Court decision overturns the Voters' Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, what's going to happen is you're going to have every red state is going to dilute all the minority vote, and their states are going to become almost exclusively red. Okay, almost exclusively red. I mean, the Democrats would probably lose 20, 25 seats instantaneously. And not only that, but forget about the seats lost. It means that voters of color will be disenfranchised in every red state, like completely. They will have no voting, they will have no voting power whatsoever at all on the state or local level.
Democracy Watch. Mark, we have done almost 400 episodes of this series. None has been more important than this one right here. Can you talk about the Louisiana case that is right now at the U.S. Supreme Court and the impact that this might have on congressional maps and the House moving forward?
All right, everyone, this is a 5-alarm fire, okay? What we are watching right now is potentially the dismantling of the remaining portions of the Federal Voting Rights Act. By the way, the 60th anniversary of the Voting Rights Act is coming up later next week.
Brutal.
So it is, the timing of this is unbelievably disgraceful. But the U.S. Supreme Court heard a case last term out of the state of Louisiana that involved the fact that Louisiana's map, when it passed its congressional map, created one black opportunity district. A bunch of plaintiffs sued, including those represented by my law firm, and won. And the federal court said that in order to comply with the Voting Rights Act, a second black opportunity district needed to be created. Louisiana, unlike Alabama, which you and I have talked about in other videos, Louisiana actually complied with that order and drew a new map with two black opportunity districts. A bunch of white plaintiffs then brought that case to the U.S. Supreme Court, saying that this was a violation of the Constitution. And the Supreme Court heard this case, and we waited to the last day of the term, waiting for an outcome. We didn't get one. Instead, the Supreme Court said it was going to set it for a hearing, and now they have told us what it is they want reheard. And the question they want the parties to argue now is, quote, whether the state's intentional creation of a second majority-minority congressional district violates the 14th or 15th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution. That is shorthand for the U.S. Supreme Court is looking to see whether or not Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act violates the Constitution. This would be an earthquake beyond any earthquake we have seen in recent decades involving voting rights in this country.
Dude, yeah, this is crazy. Okay, this is crazy. The Voting Rights Act, I believe, was from 1965. Yes. So the Voting Rights Act was the follow-up to the Civil Rights Act, if you guys want to read about it. So basically what it was is the Civil Rights Act of 1964 effectively ended segregation. Okay, then they followed it up a year later with the Voting Rights Act. Once segregation was over, they wanted to establish that there wouldn't be any rigmarole happening down in the South trying to remove the voting rights of people once they were no longer segregated, okay? Because they've had a real problem with that, okay? The South has had a real problem. The end of slavery, they launched right into the black codes, right into vagrancy laws, right into convict leasing. You know what I'm saying? And so what happened is they kind of like learned from the past, where once we ended segregation, instead of ending segregation and then allowing the states to just dilute the power of all the people of color. So, okay, they're not segregated anymore, but they no longer have any self-determinative power. They actually passed laws to prohibit racial discrimination in voting and to make sure that everybody's voting rights were equally protected under the law. Okay. And even with this, okay, there has been a constant fight with the Republicans to dilute the voting rights of people of color. It's just been their number one priority. But man, if they overturn this part, if they say the Voting Rights Act is now unconstitutional, which they very well may do, I almost can't imagine them not voting for this, because this is their goal. This is their goal, to entrench, like, the new definition of racism is anything that prevents white people from having all the power, right? They want to literally flip to where, like, if the white people are not the ultimate power, that is racism. That's like the goal of the Heritage Foundation. Oh, a black boss? That's racism, according to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, black people have voting power? Nope, racist. You know what I mean? I mean, this is crazy, dude. Dude, I got a serious itch on my chest, bro. Hold on. This shit is nuts. And yeah, I am in support of the West Coast fucking, like, leaving too. Dude, we should just break up. Like, can the U.S. just break up? The blue states just, like, go off on their own and be like, fuck off? And, like, let's just be two countries. I don't want to have a civil war. I don't want to force bigots to not be bigots. Go ahead and be bigots. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and be bigots. Let's just fucking break up. And what we could do is we could move the blue people from the red states into blue states, right? And we'll give the red people from the blue states to the red states. We'll do some type of fucking swapping, right? We'll get all the blues together and all the reds can go be reds, and fuck them. Texas and Florida can pay for all those welfare motherfuckers, right?
So how many districts in this country rely on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act? And the question that I'm getting at here is, what would it mean if they gutted the Voting Rights Act, gutted Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, and made it so that there were no opportunity districts, no black majority districts in this country?
Brian, so there's no precise count of how many Voting Rights Act districts under Section 2 there are, because it applies nationwide, and therefore states don't have to announce we are creating a district under the Voting Rights Act, right? This comes up usually when there is a legal challenge. What I can tell you is that there are dozens and dozens of districts right now that are majority minority, whether they are majority Black or majority Latino, or in some places majority Asian American. So we're talking about a lot of districts. I mean, we're talking about several dozen districts that if the Republicans decided to extrapolate this out, they could try to unravel. And by the way, that's just the majority minority districts, right? I mean, if they go forward with this theory that any use of race, any cognizance of race, you could see a lot of litigation, by the way, on both sides. I mean, you know, I'm looking at districts right now that Republicans have drawn, and it sure looks like they're protecting white voters.
Yeah.
You know, why is that allowed? So look.
Yeah, see, that's a big one there too, dude. You remember the gerrymandered district that looked like the hammer and fucking sickle, right? Jim Jordan's district. It was all white voters, right? They have a lot of districts that are based on white. Okay, that is, you know, very commonplace.
This is a very big issue before a court that has shown a reckless disregard to voting rights and to minority rights in this country. So it is something your whole audience needs to pay attention to, 𝗙ecie.𝗏's whole audience needs to pay attention to, and frankly, the legacy media. You know, I perused the legacy media before we did this video. It is not getting the attention there that it deserves.
Right, especially given the fact that, look, what we're seeing happen in Texas and in response to that, California right now is just a small microcosm of this, because yes, Texas could try to grab 5 seats if they further gerrymander their state. We can try to cancel that out with Texas. But if they're able to gut Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, we're not talking about 5 seats for Republicans. We're talking about the elimination of full swaths of Democratic representation in Louisiana, in Mississippi, in states across the country where this last vestige of representation is hinged on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And so in that instance, I guess the broader question here is how, and you may not be able to answer this may be part of a broader discussion that we engage in, but how do Democrats contend if all of a sudden we've deployed our weapons in California and hopefully Illinois and grabbed a few seats there, and maybe there's 1 seat to get in Maryland, and maybe in a couple of cycles.
Don't forget my home state of New York.
There's New York, although the rules are a little bit more convoluted in New York, and it may take two cycles to be able to get there, but that notwithstanding, how do you contend with, when you're not talking about a couple seats, now you're talking about dozens of seats that Republicans are able to pick up?
Right, and I think you make a really important point. So let's just take majority Black districts. There are more than 24 seats right now that are majority Black, and they are mostly in the South. You know, Tennessee has 1, Mississippi has 1, obviously Alabama currently has 2, Louisiana currently has 2, Georgia has 3 rather, I think. Florida. I could go on and on. South Carolina has 1. Now every one of those districts right now is held by a Democrat. Okay, so let's just round it off and say there are 25 districts that right now are majority Black, and they're all held by Democrats. Well, if you remove the Voting Rights Act as a backstop and say that none of those districts are now legally required, and Republicans can just partisan gerrymander to their heart's content, you can see what starts to happen, right? They start to zero out the districts in Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina. You know, you go on and list all the states, Florida.
Dude, you know what they do is they pinpoint them, okay? Which means, like, if a part of a city or a part of an area of a city is, you know, majority Black, instead of creating a Black district, what they do then is they have a district come in and just, they break that one area into 5 little slivers that they add to a majority white district, and they dilute the vote, right? That's like a real common practice. That's part of the reason why they made the Voting Rights Act to begin with, is to prevent that from happening, prevent from being able to go in and just take slivers of a minority area, so all of those Black voters are broken into tiny little chunks and absorbed into these huge white districts. Dude, it's going to be brutal, man. If they gut the Voting Rights Act, like, it's going to be brutal.
You know, all of these states, and it both is a tragedy, and we should start with that, for Black voters, right? It is to deprive them of their federal voting rights. But on a partisan basis, to your point, it would also have cataclysmic effects, right? You would see the unlocking of partisan gerrymanders like we have never seen before. Texas, by the way, might come back into session, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some of what Texas is doing right now is partisan gerrymandering. Now, I think they're going to get sued for violating the Voting Rights Act, for violating the Constitution. But if you remove any obstacle that puts in place by Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, that becomes a bigger thing. Now, what do Democrats do? Well, look, I think that we're not at that point where we need to start talking about how Democrats handle if Section 2 goes down. I think right now we need to be focused on making the best arguments in the Supreme Court as to why that would be wrong, both as a matter of law, as a matter of constitutional law, and also, that little thing called stare decisis that they all pledged that they agreed with. Remember the whole precedent upon precedent stuff we heard at the confirmation hearings, super precedent. Well, I mean, if there is anything that should enjoy the strength of precedent, it would be the Voting Rights Act. I mean, this is a law that was passed in 1965, has been upheld and applied by the Supreme Court dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times. And unlike some other areas where they have really grabbed and overturned precedent, there really hasn't been a controversy here until now. Like there wasn't, even the Chief Justice Roberts, in his Shelby County decision striking down Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, even he went to great pains to say that nothing in that decision affected the nationwide application of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. So this is kind of coming like as a bolt out of thin air that could really scramble the law, could scramble politics in a lot of ways. So right now, our attention needs to be, we don't let that happen. It doesn't mean we shouldn't be fighting Texas and those other states that you just mentioned. You and I were early to this party. You and I were in favor of Democrats responding in kind before it was cool. Now everybody's on that. But remember the earlier videos where you and I were kind of like a little trepidation, like this may piss some people off. Yeah. But I think Democrats in blue states need to do this. Well, now it's cool. But our fight here in this case in Louisiana needs to be to prevent the Supreme Court from doing it.
Well, I think we should and could be fighting on two fronts. I think that you're exactly right in terms of taking the fight that's right in front of us right now. But I think this is also a kick in the ass for all of these governors and state legislatures right now across the country who are deciding whether or not they want to engage in this race to the bottom that is gerrymandering. Because the reality is that we don't have that many weapons at our disposal, and so we need to get accustomed to the fact that right now, if they deploy that, we may not have a way to respond. So at least give ourselves the opportunity to get in the majority, get back in office, pass legislation to shore up what are very clearly some a very precarious hold on the Voting Rights Act, to shore
Just
up.
For the record, Elf, it's because the whole state population, right? Like, of course, they can't have 700,000 people if they don't have 700,000 people in the state. But the average House district is 761,000. So they're all, there's some variance there, but for the most part, unless the state has less people, it's roughly 700,000. The idea behind it is to keep the districts all relatively the same size, right? So that way you're not stacking it, and you're making sure that each representative is the same proportion. Because otherwise, if one state, they were 1.5 million and the other state was like 500,000, that would mean that the state with the 500,000 would have a huge representation. So yeah, it's roughly 700,000 per district with give or take here or there, except when you have a state that doesn't have that many people, right?
Up some of these laws, and most importantly, pass a ban on partisan gerrymandering before they have the opportunity to entrench their own power. If we allow Republicans to gain power here, because maybe we're not looking, again, to engage in this race to the bottom that is partisan gerrymandering, and let's just wait and see what they do. If they're able to gain the majority and we're not able to pass a ban on partisan gerrymandering, and then they strip Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act and we're not able to be successful in court, then I don't know that we'll have that much recourse. And so we need to do whatever we can while we still have options on the table to get into the majority and pass a nationwide ban on gerrymandering. But of course, the way to do that is to not unilaterally disarm. And so if we have to gerrymander so that we can respond in kind, so that we can get into office and finally pass nationwide prohibitions, that has to be our priority here. And so I hope these people that are worried about the optics or don't want to engage in this stuff, or it feels icky, disabuse yourselves of that, because the window is shrinking to be able to fix this here. And if the Supreme Court engages in this worst case scenario situation, then we are very quickly losing the tools that we have to even be able to play the game at all anymore.
Yeah, see, this is tough, man. It's like, you know what I mean? If, like, what do we do, right? I mean, they're being very specific, right? They're being very specific with how they are chipping away at shit, right? They chipped away at Roe v. Wade. They're chipping away at the Voting Rights Act. They want to chip away at the Civil Rights Act, right? They're chipping away at, like, anti-discrimination laws, you know, with their religious liberty, right? They are, you know what I'm saying? They are fucking being super targeted. And, like, at some point, we're going to have to, like, yeah, at some point, we're going to have to, like, fight. I don't know. I feel like at some point, we have to fight dirty. You know what I mean? But, yeah, if you guys look at just for the thing, all right, House district size, right? It's like the size of a U.S. House district averages 761,000, okay? It's increased over time due to the fixed number of seats, okay? In 1790, each representative had 30,000 constituents. Today, it's almost 770,000, right? And because the number of seats is fixed, okay? So what they're doing is they have to proportion it. Okay, so we have 435 voting members. So what happens is the census comes in and the population changes, but the number of reps don't change. Like we should have, I mean, we could have just grown the number of reps, but we're capped at 435. So if a state loses 3 million people, another state gains 3 million people, right? That could be a 4 or 5 seat shift to the other state, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's crazy and big shift. Now, this is part of the reason why there's been a fight over the census, why they want to stop counting, because what happens is states that have undocumented people, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Florida, right? Louisiana, a lot of these states have a lot of undocumented people. Those people are counted in the census totals. They're still repped. You know, you don't have to be a citizen. You still need to be represented, right? If you're a person. So they've been trying to fight over the census numbers, wanting it to be citizens only, and which, you know, would affect them as well, right? It would affect red states as well. They act like California is the only state with undocumented people. But my God, Florida and Texas have huge undocumented populations. Texas probably has the biggest undocumented, right? It probably has the biggest undocumented population of the whole country, you know? And yeah, Newsom has, like, threatened to, I'm sure they're already trying to figure out how they can fast track gerrymandering. I mean, California could gain 9 seats. If they wanted to gerrymander it and they did it brutally, they could gain 9 seats in California alone. New York could also gain seats. However, what Mark Elias said, or Brian Tyler Cohen said here, New York, I think, would have to be 2 election cycles because they have a slightly more complicated way that they can adjust their maps. I feel like we could pull some seats in, you know, I feel like Washington could probably pull some seats. I bet Wisconsin is going to pull a couple seats. They now have a non-red Supreme Court, and they've been really, Wisconsin's been gerrymandered. I think Wisconsin's automatically going to gain 2 blue seats because their maps have been horribly gerrymandered because of the state gerrymandering, that the state level control they've had. Illinois could pull out a couple seats. I feel like there are some other blue states here and there that could probably eke some, but California would be a biggie. But again, though, and I don't like the fact that we're getting to all this extremism here. We're like, fuck, bro. We're just, you know what I'm saying? It's like reckless abandon at trying to fucking squeeze power. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what are we doing, man?
Yeah, you're exactly right about that. And the window is literally shrinking. Every day that goes by, we are one day closer to the 2026 midterm elections. And there will come a point where it will be too late for 2026. And I'm afraid the momentum will then be lost even to do something for 2028. Yeah. So here is the thing. It is not enough for Democrats to say that we cannot bring a knife to a gunfight. If the other side brings pistols, we need to bring machine guns. Yeah. Like it is not enough. I'm all for what Governor Newsom in California and the other Democratic governors you mentioned say they're going to do, which is essentially to match, in some sense, what Republicans are up to. I think we need to exceed it. I mean, you and I have talked about this.
I agree with what Mark Elias is saying here too. I think it's time to fucking to show up with a fucking flamethrower and light these motherfuckers right on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you want to play? Fine. Let's just fucking squeeze it all out, right? We're going to gerrymander every blue state to where there's zero red. Fuck you, right? We're going to fucking withhold tax revenue. Fuck you. We're going to add fucking tariffs on red states or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, we need to start really being aggressive here, because I am tired of Republicans being fucking douchebags, dude. They break the rules. They break the law. They disobey court orders. They fucking show nothing but bullshit, culture war, disrespect, changing the rules, moving the goalposts. I want to burn these motherfuckers down, right? Make them scream, uncle. You know what I'm saying? Right? You have a fuck limit? All right, fuck. There you go. There's more fucks. There's enough fucks that you don't even come back later. All right? Fuck. I have a fucking hiding users who complain about fucks limit. All right? Later? Yeah. Fuckity fuck. Yes. Dude, let's go. Smell ya. Yes. Dude, I'm serious. I'm tired of this, right? I'm fucking tired of this shit, man. This shit is I'm tired of these crybaby fucking right-wing religious zealots trying to shove a Bible up my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. Dude, we need to start burning Bibles. Is what we need to do, dude. We need to start stacking up Bibles, right? In 20-foot high stacks and just setting them on fire with fucking flamethrowers, bro. That's the energy I want to see, bro. I want to start burning Bibles. Dude, I think I might burn one on fucking and put it on Twitter, bro. I'm serious. Burning that shit. Dude, goddamn that fucking, we're going to burn the fucking Bible, dude. Every Bible burned. All right? Let's go. Let's go, baby. Yeah, I know somebody who doesn't like the word fuck, dude. Why are you even here? Bro, you came to the wrong place. Dude.
Written about this in Democracy Docket. If they are going to gerrymander 5 seats, I think Democratic governors should re-examine their maps and within the laws of their states and all that,
gerrymander
they should
10.
Find 15 seats to take away from Republicans.
Yes.
They should find 30 seats to challenge against Republicans. Because the problem is if we're just always just matching where they are, they will just keep upping the ante.
There's no deterrent effect for them if all they have to do is contend with a possible match by Democrats.
Yeah.
Correct. We
need to blow them out of the fucking water, bro. Blow them out of the water. Burning your fucking Bibles. Fucking putting your motherfucking asses in jail, bro. Let's go. Dude, I'm ready. I'm ready, baby.
them that we are willing to be more aggressive than they are, because democracy depends on it. Because because right now Donald Trump is an authoritarian in the White House. He and John Thune and Mike Johnson are destroying our democracy. They are going to challenge free and fair elections. Mark my words. You know, you and I have done episodes on it before. I know we'll do more in the future, but they are going to put obstacles in place for to prevent people from voting. They're going to be trying to subvert the outcome of elections. And if we make that easier for them, because they are while they're gerrymandering and doing all this stuff, we're on our soapbox speaking about the high road. You know, then
dude, no more high road, dude. I want to go low. It's like you go low, I am going to be crawling face down on the floor. Dude, let's go, Blaz. Appreciate you. Yeah, no more high road. Dude, I'm tired of the high road. I want to go low. I want to get dirty. I want to get down and dirty, motherfuckers. Right? Let's go.
We're going to be doomed, and we're going to turn the high road into, frankly, a suicide pact for democracy, and we cannot let that happen.
Last question here, Mark. What is the timeline in terms of when we can expect these arguments to happen in front of the Supreme Court and when we can expect a decision from the Supreme Court?
Okay, so really good question. So normally the Supreme Court's term begins the beginning of October, decisions by the end of June of the following year, right? We're all familiar with that dance. The arguments start in October. There are arguments October, November, December, maybe a few into January, maybe a one-off later in the spring. And then we get the decisions kind of as the term goes along, with the big decisions. And one would imagine this would be a big decision coming towards the end. Now,
yeah, see, they're probably going to wait with this one till the very fucking end, bro.
For people wondering, is that in time for 2026?
Yes.
The answer is it might be. I mean, it depends where in that calendar it happens. Now, I want to give people the one historical footnote or one historical analogy that's going to let the blood drain out of your head right now, which is that in 2009, the U.S. Supreme Court did something very similar in a campaign finance case that you may have heard of called Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission.
Brutal.
And what happened is that case had been argued in October or November, I think, of the prior year. At the end of the term in 2009, they said, we don't have a decision. We want it re-argued. They wanted it re-argued on a broader question that ultimately invalidated, as everybody knows, the ban on independent expenditures by corporations. But what it did is it set that hearing for that re-argument in September. So it actually didn't wait until the normal term to begin. It actually did a one-day argument, like a one-off argument in the Supreme Court. I think it was on September 9th of that year. And the decision, as a result, came really early. The decision was, I believe, January 10th of 2010.
Oh, shit.
So it is always possible that the Supreme Court...
So the Supreme Court may decide on this first thing right in January, so everybody's rushing, like every state has to be ready to go because they may cram this fucking thing through.
At the fact that it's an election year, which I assume is what motivated them in Citizens United, right? They wanted to get the decision out early in the 2010 cycle as they could. It is always possible the Supreme Court, particularly the conservatives here, who don't want an opportunity to let another election cycle go by, that they either pull the argument out of the normal schedule and put it in September, or they make it an early argument in October and then get a decision out earlier. So that's all speculation. That's just a little historical context from someone who's been around this for a very long time and wants to give the audience the full point of view. But I can promise everyone, 𝗙ecie_𝗪𝗏 will let you know as soon as it's a date. And I'm sure, Brian, you and I by then, hopefully above our 400th episode, we had a cake once.
Dude, I gotta say this, man, that like, dude, I'm never gonna forgive the MAGA people for this shit, for what we're going through now with the lies and that fucking the Epstein burial. These guys have spent years calling like LGBTQ people groomers and shit, and then they're literally going to let a child molesting, sex trafficking woman, Ghislaine, be like their spokesperson. Like never, like MAGA people, never, no forgiveness. Like, fuck you. You are stained forever. It's like you all just burned scarlet A's on your fucking forehead. You may as well have taken the number of the beast. You sons of bitches. And the fucking, right? It's like, dude, like, no, never again, bro. Dude, MAGA, fuck them. Seriously, fuck them. They've just crossed the line, bro. There's no coming back. So much damage. You know what I'm saying? A scarlet T? Yes, a scarlet T for fucking Trump tits. Traitors. Dude, Alcatraz? Dude, we should round them up, bro. We should send them to El Salvador. All the MAGA. Dude, put them out. We'll build an ark for them. And we'll set sail for the sunny shores of El Salvador. Dude, we'll put them in an ark. Every MAGA can get paired with their favorite animal, right? Dude, seriously, fuck them all.
Did. I think after episode 100, we had a cake, and then then we saved ourselves some calories.
By the way, then Brian just started being like, "Oh yeah, Elias is just back, right? No more cake."
Then you got a text.
So you got a text, right? Sometime after our 400th episode, I assume we will be back to as soon as there is breaking news on that front.
Well, look, I think I can speak for you, Mark, in saying that this is the whole game right now. I mean, this is the most important issue in the country, and I know that it's it feels very weedsy because it's a re-arguing of a court case in Louisiana that's back in front of the Supreme Court. It's actually very simple. It's the elimination of these opportunity districts, these black majority districts, these minority majority districts, where Democrats across the country have representation. If they're able to gut that, then we may see a redrawing of maps across the country, redrawing these black Democrats or Hispanic Democrats out of their seats across the country, which may lead to dozens of Democrats losing their opportunity to have representation in their states. And so this is an especially important issue. To Mark's point, he's going to be covering this on Democracy Docket. Highly recommend for everybody who's watching right now to stay on top of this issue, which I would argue is the most important issue that we're contending with right now.
It is.
As we head toward 2026.
I mean, dude, this is huge. This is literally the voting rights is a big issue. I mean, you've already seen it. Like a lot of the rhetoric coming from the Trump camp has been about, like, what are they trying to do? They're trying to relitigate election results. They're going all the way back to 2016. They're trying to create this narrative of election impropriety and government fucking subterfuge and shit so they can get draconian, okay? They want to get draconian. They want to, Pam Bondi's going around asking people for voter rolls. It's like, fuck you, you fucking clown. I'll fucking send you a red nose in a paper bag, but we ain't sending you our fucking voter rolls, you fucking Trump sniffing weirdo. Dude, shit is getting out of hand, bro. Excuse me. Oh, shit, boss. Shit is fucking crazy. All right, we're going to do a little hog watch. Going to be a short stream tonight. So I need to get a couple videos done before I go see a movie tomorrow. I have a new pair of headphones coming because my headphones broke. My noise canceling headphones that I use for editing, they broke, man. I was bummed. Did I just sniff a marker? No, I just sniffed some eucalyptus. Oh, it's good, dude. Keeps my mood centered. A little eucalyptus. Highly recommend. All right. You saw Together today? Which one is Together? Did I see that? What movie is that? Oh, yeah. No, we haven't seen that one yet. We're going to go see that. Tomorrow we're seeing She Rides Shotgun, right? Which is good. Lavender's very good. I used to use a lavender soap, actually, for a long time. I used a lavender soap, a soap that had chunks of lavender in it. It was from France. It was really good. I mean, it was a little expensive. It was like $8 a bar that I would get at the specialty store. But back in my rock and roll days, that was my vibe, was this lavender soap. Dude, it was so good. Now I don't use lavender soap anymore. Right? Now I buy cheap soap, although I do use a specific, like there is a specific scent of soap that I like. I ordered off the internet, so I can't really get it at the store anymore, but it's a particular Dove men's care scent of soap that I like. But yeah, I use a lot of eucalyptus, and then I have this, right, which is it's a little roller, okay, that is my massage therapist does essential oils, and so she does a concoction that we use. This one is like, I think this one is like bergamot and sandalwood and fucking, I don't know. There's like 4 scents in it. Every couple months, she makes me a tincture that I use because I'm really into kind of aromatherapy. I don't know if you guys are into it, but I've been into it for a while. I used to use it for acting, right? If you study Meisner, one of the things that's really interesting about like Meisner is you can tie emotion to smell. It's actually very active. Like one of the techniques of method actors, like something I would do is I used to use visualization, right? Like if I was playing a character with some traumatic event in their life, I would use visualization and I would program it with a smell, right? Like I would have a scent that I would program the visualization and I would tie it to that scent. And then right before the scene, I would just smell that scent and walk through the door, and like I wouldn't even have to act. The minute I smell that scent, the emotion from that visualized scene of that trauma would just be coursing through my body. All it would take is one sniff and it's right there. It's like, it's really powerful. And in fact, dude, Route, let's go, baby. Appreciate that membership. In fact, when I did EMDR, right? When I did EMDR and went through and started removing the trauma, what I discovered is the trauma, when I would go back and re-experience some of those sensations during EMDR, the smells were all there. Okay. The smells, like it was crazy that I would go back and smell my fucking like bedroom from like 2nd grade, dude. It's wild shit, boss. It is like unfucking believable how like connected your smell is to your sensory memory. Like something traumatic happens to you and whatever you're smelling at that moment is like stored in your fucking brain, man. That shit is like a fucking key, dude. Oh, dude. I don't know what's in this tincture, but it's good. I'll have to ask her. Like, dude, I have like the best massage therapist in Portland, dude. I shit you not. She's amazing. Right? Alaskan Thunderfuck. Yeah, there you go. That weed, you like that weed smell? Let's go. All right. What do we got? Oh yeah, we're going to watch a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of hog watch. A little bit of TikTok, the TikTok hoggies. All right.
Trump just fired.
The TikTok hoggies, boss. All right. Oh, shit. Oh, dude. Miss the 90s? Well, so, dude, I don't know. It's interesting with, like, I was never, like, the hugest weed guy. Right? I mean, I smoked a lot of it, but I didn't love it. It wasn't like, I loved it my freshman year of college. But then beyond that, it was like, I don't know, a lot of times it made me quiet and awkward. And, you know, it kind of dulled me in a way that like dulled the life of the party part of me. So I wasn't too into it. But there was in college, there were some people whose parents were movie producers. Dude, Willem, let's go, baby. Thanks for the membership. But they were movie producers. And they had, like, their parents had, like, a thing on their table that was just filled with weed. It was like a huge core of their fucking, right? It was like a huge core of their, you know, their social scene was weed. But they used to get it from Hawaii, like this really sticky, like Hawaiian pot. And dude, this was in the 80s, like 87. That shit was nuts, bro. It was like super expensive, but it was like the craziest shit. I think they called it Puna butter is what they called it. I don't know. I don't know where it was from or whatever, but it was called Puna butter. But it was it was like the craziest weed I ever smoked. And then there was a guy, like a lot of weed in LA in the 80s and 90s was like the brick weed, like the sort of cheap shit from Mexico. And that was the majority of the marijuana that was in LA. That was cheap. But there was this guy named Walt. He was a dude in Miracle Mile where I lived. He was one guy in the neighborhood who got this shit that was like $70 an eighth back in the 90s, right? It was $70 an eighth in like 1994. And it was really good shit, that Walt weed. And now I got to smoke Walt weed all the time purely on a technicality. I didn't have the money to afford Walt weed, but what I had, I was always the deal maker guy. So what I did was I had a friend who was a lawyer and we used to go surfing together, right? And my friend who was a lawyer really loved smoking pot, but because he was a lawyer, he would not ever buy it, okay? Ever. He didn't want to get in trouble buying it. So what he did was he paid for it, and so I would buy it, and then he would give me half the bag every time. So he paid for the Walt weed and gave me half of it just for getting it for him. So I always had really good weed and never had to pay for any of it, dude. Dude, I had the best hookups, man. I mean, I was always looking for a good hookup, right? How can I be of service to you? Oh, you need good weed and you don't have a connection? You're worried about getting busted? I'll take care of it for you. Dude, I was the bag man. Dude, but it was his. It was his idea, right? He was like, here's the deal I want. And I'm like, perfect, dude. How often you want me to get you some? Bro, so he used to buy a bag or two a week. And so I was getting a half a bag or a bag of Walt weed a week just for fucking walking over to his house. And like, I mean, it was, the only thing about Walt is if you walked to his house, you had to listen to him for like 20 minutes because he was always so cooked. He would just sit there and talk and talk and talk. So you'd have to go get stoned with Walt and listen to him talk for 40 minutes, right? But, oh shit. Dude, that was the fucking thing, dude. But yeah, but I don't really, I was not really a connoisseur of it. Mostly it just made me, like paranoid and made me sort of dull the senses. But I would still do it. Now I'm sober though and happy to be, man. Right? Ruthless with their prices. Dude, well, when I came to Oregon, it was crazy. When I first got here, like the really good weed in Oregon was like $40 a bag. I got here and I was like, holy shit, dude. It was so cheap. Now I don't know what it is. Now I know it's all, at the weed stores and shit, but.
Fired the head.
I'm actually headed into my last day of work at American Eagle today, right now. And I actually have a very different opinion on the Sydney Sweeney situation. I think they were targeting exactly who they wanted to target. And because our men's jeans sales, like as a company, are always down. They're always bad. They bought her bathwater. And if you
Oh, dude, yeah, they're going after the MAGA bros, right? Hey, MAGA bros. Dude, who's gonna fucking shop at American Eagle? I'm sorry, dude. I'm not shopping at American Eagle. Fuck that noise, bro.
Let white supremacists know that you support them, they like flock.
Flock. Dude, yeah, that's it. They want the white supremacists. Dude, they realize that the MAGA people are they are a cult, right? So if you put the dog whistle out and say, hey, we support the white supremacists over here, those motherfuckers will just give you everything they have, bro. They're so desperate to be accepted, right?
They flock. So I think they did exactly what they wanted to do with this ad. I think they weren't expecting the negative backlash and they wanted to like secretly do it to like raise men's jean sales. And the easiest way to get a cult following is to get a woman that looks traditionally attractive and is willing to sell sex.
Yeah, and she's a Republican, dude. Her whole family is. I mean, if you watch Euphoria, dude, she was the most Republican character on that show, dude, by far. Her and the guy's dad, who was like closeted, right? 𝗙ص𝗶𝗹𝗪, or right, his dad and her. She was like so, I don't know, she was so, reminded me of a Republican woman in that show, right? You know what I mean? Where she's just always getting used and shit. That's kind of like Republican women are sort of like that. They're like, I don't know, they'll let themselves get used for the cause. That's just kind of a thing. It's kind of a thing with religion. Women are like, they get used and disrespected and controlled, and they are like, okay, that's the cross we bear for, you know.
And I think they did exactly what they were planning on doing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that take.
This is actually insane. In case you don't
Dude,
know,
it's crazy. I have not been on TikTok in a while, but it's crazy that every TikTok is about this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Dude, Walmart jeans. See, for me, I buy, like, the jeans I buy, I like Joe's jeans, or I tend to buy my jeans. I'll tell you what I normally do. I go to Nordstrom Rack, okay, because I don't like to pay $350, right? But the jeans I like are usually like $300 a pair. And they're the really soft ones, the really stretchy ones that are like smooth, like tight fit, but that are cut nice for skinny people. And so I normally go to Nordstrom Rack and I can get them for like $175, you know? But that's what I've always done. I've always gotten jeans at Nordstrom Rack where I can get like $300 jeans, slightly off season because they're a little bit older, but I get them, you know, for $150, $200, right? I want good jeans. Yeah, no, I buy good jeans. Dude, I would never buy American Eagle. Are you kidding me? Dude, there's no way I would buy American Eagle. I don't like the fucking name, bro. It's a dumb name, dude. American Eagle, fuck off, bro. Stick an eagle up your ass, boss. You know, you know what I mean? I like shit that is like, I like the stretchy, super soft kind, right? That where they're really thin, stretchy, super soft denim. Like, I like the shit that is like smooth, dude. You know what I'm saying? Smooth. I like that smooth, fashionable shit. Dude, I'm not wearing American Eagle. Like, are you kidding me? That's like buying Old Navy, bro. I'm never gonna wear Old Navy jeans, dude. I'd rather be dead than wear Old Navy jeans, dude. Right? Come on, man. No way, dude. I used to wear 501 button fly when I was like 19, but now I like the sexy soft jeans. I like Joe's jeans. What are these? Let me see what these are. Yeah, these are Joe's. Those are fucking sexy. Dude, you wore Old Navy jeans. I'm not going to judge you, Les, right? Dude, I'm not going to judge you. I judge nobody for what they wear. I just have my thing. Dude, let's go. Good jeans. Oh, shit. No. Easy. Cut it.
who I am. My name is Savannah. I own a multi-million-dollar marketing and sales company, and I literally help my clients create 8 figures in sales, all from their organic marketing and messaging. And I have a fuck ton of thoughts about this, so let's get into it. Last year, I talked about how the Bumble campaign was probably one of the biggest marketing fumbles of 2024. And this one might actually be the biggest marketing fumble.
Dude, I'm going to save that for later.
So there's still time for people to fuck up, but this is bad.
I don't want to watch all this now.
We spent years screaming build the wall, tried to kick out the very people that kept the economy running, and meanwhile, undocumented immigrants were quietly keeping Social Security from collapsing.
Are you a CFO?
I just left LA. I'm still on my way home. The city is not on fire. It is not destroyed. What you continue to see on the media has radicalized and sensationalized the few violent among the peaceful.
Dude, this is so crazy with the media realm because they do this shit with Portland all the time too, right? They say that Portland burned, Portland's unsafe, Portland is destroyed. Dude, I get family members or like distant friends from Middle America who are like, oh my God, are you okay? I heard Portland burned. It's like, dude, nothing burned here. Nothing is like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody in Portland feels remotely unsafe. I could walk in every neighborhood in this fucking city with like $100 bills taped to my fucking jacket at 2 a.m, dude, and I would be fine. There is literally like zero fucking crime in this town. You know what I'm saying? Like hardly anything. I mean, a little bit of like, you know, homeless pilfering and shit like that. And there's definitely some open air drug use because there's, you know, homeless population and some drug problems and shit. But like, bro, it is like so not remotely dangerous here at all. You know what I mean?
I have served both as a veteran and a first responder.
Now, I'm sure you're getting a lot of hate for this. And somebody probably came to you and said, hey, here's a little bit of money. We want you to come out there because you do have a large platform.
Dude, shut up, bro.
Oh, yeah, I do.
You do? And what's your major?
Psychology.
Psychology?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be making no fucking money, goddamn.
I mean, like, I'm going to go to school after, so...
Dude, you're going to be making no fucking money, goddamn. Oh, what's your major? Fucking Chad? Dude, chattery? Jesus. Dude, Florida sucks, bro. I do want to go to Key West, though, and see a sunset. And then as soon as I'm done with that, we could burn the whole state to the ground.
I'm really interested in what's actually going behind the scenes with Vance and the rest of them, because they're all preparing for a post-Trump world, right?
They're not preparing for a post-Trump world. We are in a post-Trump world. You're kidding yourself if you think Trump has been in charge of any of this. I mean, the man barely knows how to read or write. He's a puppet. He's so clearly not in charge of anything. And the thing is that he's so easy to control because he's so deeply in debt to everyone. He is nothing. So it makes sense that he'd have to be reliant on all of these other people to be pulling on the strings for him because truly he's been a broke man his entire life.
Dude, he literally has. Like, he has been not unable to get money for like 30 years, okay? Nobody would loan him money after his shenanigans in the 90s. You know, he was having trouble in the 90s, and, you know, that's why he had to go to Deutsche Bank and Russia and get involved with all this fucking shady fucking oligarchs and shit like that. So what's crazy about this is how the Heritage Foundation and their minions, Vaught, Miller, right? Even, you know, Peter Thiel and those guys, they're really fucking calling the shots. I feel like the Heritage Foundation and the tech bros and shit. And Trump, you know, if anything, I bet they fucking, maybe they're even holding Epstein over him. You know what I'm saying? And he's just the guy who can take all the bullets and be out there, you know, metaphorically, right? He can be out there just taking the hits and entertaining the masses and putting up with the shit. Because, I mean, every time he gets asked a question, he doesn't even know what he's fucking talking about, bro. You know what I'm saying? He has no fucking clue. He just makes the crazy promises and shit.
Think about it. Name one thing that Trump has built or made that has sustained his wealth. That's right, nothing. Because he's not a wealthy man. He's a very poor man who owes a lot of people favors for the money that they've had to bail him out with. Do you really think this guy knows one word to that 1,000-page big beautiful bill that he just had signed on July 4th?
Not a word,
all of that
bro.
tech language, surveillance frameworks, AI.
Dude, that's why every time that what am I signing with his EOs, and there's somebody there telling him, oh, this is this EO, oh, this is this EO, and he's like, oh, is it? Oh, what was that one? A ways back where he was like, is it nuclear? Does this cover nuclear? And the guy's like, yeah, it covers nuclear. And he's like, oh, okay. Right? He has no fucking clue, dude.
Governance, you think Trump wrote any of that? Like maybe he wrote the title, but that's it. When I think back to the moment where I realized who was really running the country, and I mean like really new, was probably February 7th, 2025. when they locked Congress out of the Department of Education. Yeah, remember that? Remember when Elon Musk took a bunch of his spring interns and just walked in there, flipped the locks, and just started scraping all of this data to feed into Palantir? Meanwhile, all of our elected representatives just stood outside, tapping on the windows, being like, hey, this isn't cool, let us in. And I work in AI, and so like I'm watching this happen, just yelling at my phone, like, get the fuck in there right now before it's too late, because if you don't, you're done. We're done. All of this is done. Just like that. Like, this isn't some hard drive that you can request the files on later and draft up a lawsuit for. Like, when it's gone, it's gone. I knew what was happening in there. We all did. Like, we knew that data was getting scraped to train some system. That system ended up being Palantir. What did Congress do? Like a press conference? Strongly worded statements? A couple of them made some signs that they held up during a congressional hearing. Oh, maybe they bought some pink jackets to go along with it, but that's it. Here's the thing that really gets me. Like, was there any meaningful consequence from that day? Like, think about it. Why is not one person in jail right now? Why is not one of those kids arrested for what they were doing with Elon Musk on that day? Like, nobody is being made an example of. We keep talking about this like some line is going to be crossed.
See, this is crazy, right? With like the Palantir shit is like crazy, because you wonder, like, what are they going to do with all that data, right? What are they going to do, man? Are they going to selectively fucking like IRS audit people? Are they, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are they planning to do, man? They basically took all of the data from the government and they're feeding it into like AI, right? That have a lot crazier sort of like there's no guardrails on their AI, right? Like our AI, I don't know if you guys have this, but I use ChatGPT to like analyze my thumbnails and shit. And a lot of weird shit happens, right? If I have a thumbnail with somebody's face in it, it looks like a mugshot, ChatGPT will be like, won't let me work on that thumbnail anymore inside ChatGPT. It won't analyze it for me, right? Even if you use like Maga, Trump, and Epstein in a YouTube title in ChatGPT, it may flag it and be like, oh, I'm sorry. And then you have to like coax the fucking AI to work with you again. But there though, Palantir, there's no guardrails. They can do the dirtiest shit with their AI, right? They can do any type of cross-reference. There's no moderation flagging for them, right? They can do the craziest racial or like, you know, word use drill down and right? You know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's just real worrisome to me.
Crossed in the future, but that line was already crossed on February 7th and nothing happened. That's when I realized, oh, this is going to be really easy for them, isn't it?
And they got a huge contract too with the military, the Department of Defense. So the government is just funneling them money to develop their tools.
And then you've got Elon Musk with his fake outrage over the big, beautiful bill, as if Doge wasn't taking over the entire government at the same time that that bill was being written. As if Elon Musk didn't write it himself. There were 3 men who wrote that bill. Like, look at the language, follow the money, all of the surveillance technology, all of the money going to the Department of Defense contracts. Who got those contracts? Like, this whole bill serves 3 men and the 3 companies that they own, and anybody else it serves is just inconsequential. Think about what's being built here, and each piece almost seems innocuous and disconnected when you look at all of it as individual circumstances. Oracle buying TikTok, well, it's just another business deal. Palantir expanding into government contracts, well, it's just standard procurement. SpaceX being essential to NASA, well, it's an innovation success story, the American dream. These same 3 dudes are owning everything right now. Like, this is not just McDonald's.
Who are the 3 dudes? Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. Who's the 3rd dude in her
Having
thing?
the monopolization in the corner on the festival is going to be
does she say who it is?
on Merkel because of all the capitalism. This is beyond teen instead of alarm. Fully bow down to her. Like, she's been reporting on these Silicon Valley assholes since before.
Is Larry Ellison the other one?
All connected in his life. Like, he just sits there quietly.
Oracle, Larry Ellison, Peter Thiel. I know it's Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. Is the 3rd? Larry Ellison. Dude, that guy's a fucking creep, bro.
Wait until white people find out that the person that they pray to and call their savior and think that he's coming back. Wait until they find out that he was actually a person. Just remember, anytime you see the elites or whatever you want to call them trying to make us hate a specific person or thing, it's really just because that's the most powerful thing. They do everything in their power to make us hate black people. That's because these people are so powerful. These people have been here forever. White people did not pop up until about 5,000 years ago. Now, there's gonna be quite a few of white people that are gonna be mad at this.
Nah, I'm not mad.
I finished mine.
Speaking.
I think Miss Andrew is completely fucking justified when it comes to male shoppers. Like male DoorDashers, male Instacarters. And before you fucking come for me, let me cook. I don't have a fucking car, right? So I have to resort to like getting everything delivered. I have a hot date tonight. I'm nervous. My first date in years. I go through my makeup bag. I realize, okay, I don't have lip liner. I don't have lipstick.
You got any thoughts on the whole Sydney Sweeney jeans ad?
No, I don't buy American Eagle jeans, and I won't buy them now. A pair of tits isn't going to convince me to buy jeans.
So you don't know anything about the controversy?
I do. Sort of superior white jeans. They're just saying she's got those fucking milkers.
They want to control white people so bad, and the Sydney Sweeney case is a prime example of that. They really don't want beautiful white women being proud of their ancestry.
There's so much discourse on whether or not...
Dude, this shit is so crazy, dude.
It's a dog whistle, or they're talking about eugenics, or this is white supremacy. Or it could go either way. You know who didn't misinterpret this? Fucking white supremacists.
Muslims hire other Muslims, Indians hire other Indians, Jews hire other Jews. All right, my beautiful white people, gather around. First things first, these people are...
Dude, see, it's funny. I love the way he said that, because it's so true, right? It's like... You know, when the white supremacists are cheering, you know that the thing was a nod to white supremacy, right? Like when the white supremacists cheer for Donald Trump, you know that it's because Donald Trump is speaking to white supremacy. That's how you know, okay? And so the discourse over it, is it talking about white supremacy? It's like, of course it is, because all the white supremacists are fucking cheering for it. Like, yeah, that's the greatest indicator. That's literally how you know. When they are cheering for them, it's because they're using the dog whistle. Dude, yeah, I know, Cenk and Anna are so funny. The whole, like, dude, nobody has good genes, okay? You just have genes. You know what I mean? If we're talking about genes, you literally just have genes. There's no such thing as good ones. And anybody who thinks there's a such thing as good ones, they only think that because they believe there's bad ones. Okay? And so what you do to anyone who says, the good genes is a thing, you say, okay, well then you tell me or show me the people who have bad genes and see what they do. Let's see what their answer is to that, okay? Who are the people with bad genes? Would that be like the people that Cenk and Anna say are low IQ? Yeah, who's low IQ to Cenk and Anna? Black women are low IQ? Cenk Uyghur thinks black women are low IQ, right? You can celebrate your heritage? Yeah, but you know what's funny is you can absolutely celebrate your heritage, but there's no such thing as a white heritage, guys. I mean, is there? Like, white heritage? What does that look like? You know, what would a white heritage look like? Would that be Scandinavian? Would that be Swiss? Would that be Russian? You know what I'm saying? Like, white heritage? You know, I mean, dude. I mean, really? Is there? Come on. Dude, white heritage is what? Like being toothless and banging your fucking cousin? Right? You know, and no thanks. I don't want to celebrate that. Right? You know? I mean, dude, come on, man.
By the tiny hat gang who has sent them out to recruit more pawns to do more of their dirty work.
This woman, Mayonnaise Mary, has heard this message from Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle loud and fucking clear.
Yes, thank you.
This is what happens when they try and silence white people, okay? If you're curious, if you're on the fence whether or not, this could be interpreted, here's your fucking answer. Just as an aside, is the master race in the room with us now.
Dude, I love this, right? This is the irony. Because the funny thing is when you look at like these white supremacists, a lot of them, they all look like this, right? Like, is this good, the good genes right here, right? You know what I mean? Like, she believes she's got the good genes. Really? Huh. That's interesting, right? Like, why do you have the good genes? What is good genes? Dude, I love him, bro. He really calls it out. Oh shit, bro. That is some fucking truth, bro. You know what I'm saying? Dude, yeah, there you go. That's some of them, they're good genes, bro. Some of them, they're good genes. I got them good genes. I got them good genes with my fucking sister daughter. Dude, Pendulous, let's go, baby. Let's go, dude. Enjoy your vacation. Where are you going again? I know you said it, but it cruised by. It was a pre-dance party. Let's go, dude. Dude, some of them, they're good genes. Oh, shit. Right? Shit hell. Got some of them there genes. Dude, she looks gruff, bro. Right? She does. But she's got them there good genes.
Or should we expect them at some point? Woof, dude.
Oh, shit.
On the European Union and Mexico set to go into effect on.
Hey fuckers, excuse the wet hair, but it's 109 degrees outside, and the last thing I want to do is blow dry my hair and put more heat on my body when I'm already sweaty.
Dude, I love Ashley. She's good.
About going to one of your shows and complaining about you becoming woke, which sort of then created this.
He doesn't even know what that word means.
Let me
his definition of woke is white liberals' definition of woke, and they didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
They just took the word from black people. That's the worst thing about our people is not only do we take from other cultures, we don't even take the time to understand the definition.
Yeah.
He went there to be annoyed so he can then have something to talk about, and then he can make money off of dividing his own country.
Yeah.
Those people, it's treasonous what they do.
Ben Shapiro.
Dude, I love those cities, dude. Pittsburgh and Philly,
So
good cities.
Talking about eugenics and that Sydney Sweeney ad, which is very bad and confusing. But every time I see that ad and people talking about eugenics, about it, all that stuff, it's just making me think of how last year I became disabled. I was diagnosed with epilepsy out of the blue, super unexpected, like no family history. But anyway, one of the first things that my girlfriend at the time said to me when I got out of the hospital was, I guess your eggs aren't good for kids anymore. And I gave her like an hour to rectify that and apologize and kind of hope that she came to the conclusion by herself that that was not okay to say. But she didn't. And then when I brought it up to her, she said that I was being sensitive and that it wasn't a problem.
Ooh, break up.
So yeah, we're not together anymore.
Yeah, good for you. Dude, oh, that crazy shit. I guess your eggs aren't good anymore. Dude, you know what it is? I mean, think about this, guys, because I hadn't really thought about this. But think about these eugenics motherfuckers, right? Because this is tied into that Andrew Tate shit, right? With the idea of being like high value, right? Remember when they were throwing that shit around about being high value, but it's always tied to like these guys, they believe it's genetic. They're born into a rich family or something, or they go out there and they be a shark and they make a bunch of money and all of a sudden they become high value. But there is this idea that these eugenics sort of people are where they're fucking degenerates and they have like, they're not even good people, but they walk around thinking they are high value, thinking they are like some magical important people. And they usually think it's like genetic. It's some personal genius they have or some bloodline thing that they have. But dude, it's such fucking bullshit, bro. It's such a con job. The whole thing is just such a con job. But I love that. You know what I'm saying? Dude, yeah, the whole, oh, dude. And you know what's funny too? is they're fucking dumb about it too, right? These idiot fucking manosphere bros where they think that like the number of like women that, or the number of dudes a woman has sex with determine like their vagina or some shit. It's like, bro, they're so dumb. Only dudes who've never like seen a vagina think like that. Like, dude, they're so dumb, bro. They don't understand how like the human body works, right? You know what I mean? Like, dude, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like, seriously, like you could go right up to those manospheres and go like, yeah, after you take like 15 huge shits, you what, your asshole is just gaping now, right? Like, no, dude, that shit doesn't loosen for like 50 years, bro. Has nothing to do with the size of the things going in and out of it, you fucking dumbasses. But yeah, when you're 50, after 50 years of taking shits, like it gets a little fucking loose up in there, right? You know what I mean? But like, dude, homies, like, these are the same guys that are like, oh, if you've had 10 sex with 10 men, your vagina's all loose. And then they're like, dude, I took a huge shit. It was like the greatest thing ever. Dude, it's like, bro, they're so fucking dumb, dude. Like, so dumb. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Number one question I get in my DMs, how do you...
I said, are you aware that little girls get brought to the men's room by their fathers?
Little girls, old men in a bathroom, you're okay with that?
Should you be in a bathroom with little girls?
No.
So then never fucking use a public restroom again, you dummy. If you hear that a little girl is...
Dude, fucking, like...
I'm gonna say...
A white couple was brutally beaten at a jazz festival by a black...
Dude, fuck off with your fucking black mob. Dude, a white dude slapped a black guy in the middle of a fucking chaotic thing, and then they all got their asses fucking beat to shit. But you know what? Fucking don't fucking...
He's a person, right? He's a brand with a team. And
don't fucking, you know, if you're in a crowd of people, I don't care what color there are. If there's a crowd of people around you, don't hit one of them, because that crowd is probably going to beat your ass. I mean, dude, it ain't rocket science. If I'm in a crowd of people, there's like 10 people yelling at me. I don't care what color they are. Could be a crowd of like Philadelphia Eagles fans or a crowd of Green Bay Packers fans, right? If there's a crowd of those guys around me in my face, I'm not going to swing at one of them because the crowd is going to kick the shit out of me. And if you're too dumb to know that, like, you shouldn't even go out in public. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, we all know that. Bro, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, dude. It has nothing to do with color. If I'm at a football game, a Raiders game, and there's a bunch of Packers fans surrounding me, yelling at me, I am not going to throw a punch, dude. Because that'll be the last fucking punch I ever throw, dude. Like, come on, man. Seriously. It's like, do we need like some fucking like intelligence training? Like, homie, like, slap that guy and you thought he was going to walk away from that? Like, dude. Fucking dumb, bro. Jesus. I mean, that's like crowd fucking 101, dude. Dude, Pedstein. Dude, yeah, what kind of genes make somebody do that move, dude? Jesus.
2020 feels increasingly like a major inflection point. It wasn't the advent of anything, but it does feel like the point at which, like, that the final link to whatever that old world was cut permanently, and we were left stranded in our individual silos. How do you think?
I mean, dude, 2020 was rough. It's a pandemic. I'm intrigued by this one. I'm gonna fucking watch this later. I don't want to watch it right now, but that one's going to be a watch later.
What does this American Eagle, Sydney Sweeney jeans campaign have to do with not just race, but soap and the current political climate? I'm Sayantani, an author of...
Dude, it's crazy, because I literally was like, dude, nobody's even talking about this, because I don't really see a lot of this Sydney Sweeney shit, because my main social network right now is Twitter or fucking, YouTube. And on Twitter, both of them are politics. But my God, dude, every other TikTok is about this. Dude, TikTok is like on it.
Middle grade and YA books, which I mostly talk about on this app, but I am
what does
also
it have
a
to
professor
do with
of something
soap?
called narrative medicine. So I teach a lot about race, health, and narrative. And that is exactly why this ad is in my particular wheelhouse and why I will be putting it on my syllabus in the fall. So now, as many wonderful creators on this app have pointed out, this 𝗙dzie Sweeney ad is really imbued with eugenic messaging. Now, what is eugenics? If you don't know, I would highly recommend watching the Eugenics Crusade from PBS, which I have on my syllabi almost every year. But in short, it is the both pseudoscientific and immoral notion that we can improve the human race. We can help natural selection along by certain pseudoscientific practices.
Dude, we're going to save this one too. I'm curious about it, but I don't want to invest 6 minutes right now. Dude, I got like 3 minutes
I might
left.
not have
yeah, dude,
good genes,
I like her
but at
too.
least no one will associate me with genocide.
Oh shit, what does this say?
I might not have good genes, but at least no one will associate me with genocide or promoting to teen girls that their only value is being an object of desire to men.
Ooh. Oh, dude, that is so good, bro. Oh, that is so good. Dude, you know, because I did see some people calling up the Brooke Shields ads. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but Brooke Shields in the 80s, okay, she did a bunch of Calvin Klein ads, like a whole bunch of them, okay? And they were Calvin Klein jeans, and she was 15, okay? Now, Brooke Shields, though, she was in a movie called Pretty Baby when she was really young. She was like 12, and she was naked in that movie, okay? This was a different time. But dude, they had sexualized her before that in Pretty Baby, okay? She played the daughter of a madam in a brothel, and she appeared naked in the brothel in the movie Pretty Baby. I think she was 12. It was insane. It was like pretty shocking, and this huge fucking deal of seeing like a 12-year-old naked in a sex parlor in fucking a movie, right? Maybe she was 13. I don't know. She was fucking young, dude. It was unreal, right? And so on the heels of that, she then did those Calvin Klein jeans ads where she's kind of like sitting like this, you know what I'm saying? Or she's hunched over showing her butt. There were all of these ads, okay, where she did like a dozen of them. And I think Richard Avedon did them. But they, you know, nothing, what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing, right? And there was a whole bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? Which one is this one? The Brooke one. Oh yeah, no, I was watching these yesterday, right? The whole list. Yeah, the really crazy one was this one, okay? This was the big one right here, right? Watch this one.
You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing.
Dude, that was the ad right there, right? 15, okay? 15, right? The crotch shot, and then what comes between me and my jeans? Nothing, right? Which is another implication that, like, she's not wearing any underwear, right? Her and her Calvins. I mean, dude, pretty crazy. All right, so you timestamped the eugenics one. All right, let's look at the timestamped one that Natalie sent. Okay, let's look at the timestamped one.
The secret of life lies hidden in a genetic code. Genes are fundamental in determining the characteristics of an individual and passing on these characteristics to succeeding generations. Occasionally, certain conditions produce a structural change in the gene, which will bring about the process of evolution. This may occur in one or more of the following ways. Firstly, by selective mating, in which a single gene type proves superior in transmitting its genes to future generations. Secondly, by gene drift, in which certain genes may fade away while other genes persist. And finally, by natural selection, which filters out those genes better equipped than others to endure in the environment. This may result in the origin of an entirely new species, which brings us to Calvin's and the survival of the fittest.
Calvin Klein jeans.
Dude, it's crazy. Dude, I saw the thing. Yeah, I am getting dressed wrong as well, dude. I'm going to start fucking like posturing there. Miller's Outpost, baby. David Pakman is not wearing Calvin's. Dude, it's kind of a, like, I almost thought she was making a swastika at first when she did that fucking, right? That reminded me of that Elon Musk meme where they made his arms and legs like a swastika. But yeah, dude, crazy. Dude, the genetic fucking shit. There's a whole bunch of ads here if you want to watch the whole video, right? I was watching some of this yesterday during fucking like research time. But dude, this guy kind of nailed it though, didn't he?
I might not have good genes, but at least no one will associate me with genocide or promoting to teen girls that their only value is being an object of desire to men.
I like the little blink at the end, dude. That really sells it. Good fucking, that's a good one, dude. We're going to save that one. Let's go, baby. Dude, Miller's Outpost, winner 88.
So what do you think men
Oh
did?
my God, dude. All right, we're going to end with pearly things. All right, you ready? Here we go. Oh, shit, dude. Dude,
So
I
what do
used
you
to
think-
see nothing but pearly things on my Twitter timeline, and I don't see her at all, guys. Did she block me? Like, I used to see her all the time, dude. Like, nothing but pearly things. Yeah, dude, she didn't even block me. It's crazy. I used to literally see her. Every other tweet of hers was like on my timeline. I have not seen her content in fucking ages. You know what I'm saying? I have not seen her on Twitter in fucking, like, I used to, not on YouTube. I didn't know she got demonetized, but I used to see her on Twitter. Literally every fifth tweet of hers when Elon first took over Twitter was on my shit. But now I have not seen her in like a year or fucking 2 years. Crazy. All right, we're gonna go out with her.
So what do you think?
You have no idea who she is. All she is she's like, she followed the Tate pipeline. So she was like a girl content creator who would say like women shouldn't be able to vote. That's essentially who Pearly Things was. She's the female content creator who would make content saying, you know, women shouldn't be able to vote. You know, right? That was her in a nutshell. Yeah, she was a rage baiter who said women are secondary fucking creatures, right? Women should get married and have kids, even though she's not married and doesn't have kids. And if you look at her, she's like, you know, I mean, no one's lining up to marry her. You know what I'm saying? Because of her takes and her general fucking distastefulness.
The New York Times.
So what do you think men did historically? Like, what do you think their jobs were? Like 1800s, what were your choices as a man to do as a job? Because, you know, you always...
Well, first off, I hate to burst her bubble, but in the 1800s, there a lot of times there wasn't even jobs. There was like homesteading. So a man in the 1800s, let's take Oregon, for example. The way Oregon is you come west, and if you were a white man, you get free land. So men would move across to Oregon, and many of them would just get a homestead. They would get that free land, and then their job would be building a house and feeding themselves on the land, okay? right? And so usually, like, the jobs became people who fucking had enough resources to not have to farm their own land, okay? People who had the resources to hire someone to fucking farm or take care of the land, then those people would then create jobs, right? They would start a business or something, but a lot of people's job was simply surviving, literally farming and maintaining their own land so they didn't die.
Let's talk about how women were held back historically. So I'm asking, like, what was life like back then?
Well, women had to stay home and men had to do all of the jobs because they didn't allow women to help them.
What were their jobs that they did? What were the most common methods of employment back then?
I mean, what do you mean? I mean, it's going to be construction, it's going to be medicine, it's going to be food production, it's going to be factories, it's going, like, the same thing that runs all of society.
So they had three
Dude, in the 1800s, dude, there were no factories in the 1800s. No, in the 1800s, most people were, like, a lot of their job was just homesteading.
Coal miner, farmer, factory worker.
Nothing else happened in society.
I'm not saying nothing else. That was the majority of how people were employed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was. You guys have this, like, rewritten history.
Like, I mean, dude, there was, like,
where
there were not a ton of factories and shit. That shit really boomed in the 1900s, but you know what I'm saying?
You guys think that men just had these glamorous, fun jobs.
I mean, it was starting.
But men did the difficult job. Men know that they didn't enjoy their jobs. Do you think any guy is going to a coal mine and saying, wow, this is my passion?
And again, who set that system up?
But see, again, though, you know what I'm saying? Again, she's so dumb. Now, I'm so glad I don't see her content, right? Because the idea of, like, women would have worked in the coal mines, but nobody would let them. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody likes jobs. You know what I mean? Like, just in and of itself, having a job, there's, like, nobody out there that fucking likes jobs. You know what I'm saying? You know, dude, she does say the stupidest shit, but so let's just look at this. Okay, so factories in America, right? They had early factories which were silk mills, okay? Those were the earliest factories. Let's look at the factory system here real quick. So in the 1700s, there were silk mills. Those were the first ones. But again, this was not, like, large scale, okay? It was the second, the assembly line, which was in the 1900s, okay? The 1900s, with the assembly line is when large scale factories started to expand. Okay, there were cotton mills, right? But again, those were not like not everybody had those jobs, right? They existed, but they weren't like large scale. Okay, I'm trying to see when the large scale things. So factories started to grow in the early 1800s. Right? But it was really the first industrial revolution was 1760 to 1830 and primarily in Britain. Okay? Let me see here, and I'll pull this down so you can see this too. We have the second industrial revolution, which is the late 19th and 20th century, and this is the one that is, like, primarily thought of here, the Industrial Revolution here, which was with the assembly lines and the Industrial Revolution that started in the 1900s, very late 1800s. But if you look in the early 1900s or the early 1800s, and there were not a lot of people, like, it wasn't widespread. I mean, it was starting to grow, but it was not widespread. Most of the people were literally farming their own fucking land and shit. So it looks like here's like the pioneers of mass production were starting to research this in the late 1800s, right? It was really like Henry Ford, okay? 1913 was the first moving conveyor belt, right? And that's when this shit kind of got crazy, right? But even with the cotton mills, right? Let me see. So in 1850, okay, let's look at this. Let's look at the cotton mills in America. These are all fucking... Dude, this is all in England. All right, here we go. So, cotton mills. Dude, let's go, Pendulous. Let's go, baby. Thank you, boss. We fucking appreciate you. So, cotton mills were starting in the 1800s, but again, they weren't like large scale. I think probably coal mining was like the biggest large scale. And then tobacco farming was pretty large scale. Definitely there was large scale of like the assembling of picking cotton, the farming, right? But there wasn't large scale factory work in the 1800s. So it was post-Civil War for sure, right? So it was it was definitely, I feel like it was late 1800s, you know, when it was like large scale. Okay, let's look at the Industrial Revolution in the US. I'm talking about large scale. You know what I'm saying? So the first Industrial Revolution occurred in the late 18th and early 19th century, and the second Industrial Revolution was following the American Civil War, right? I'm talking about when it became large scale, right? When a lot of people were working in factories, not the existence of factories, but when factories were like the dominant sort of jobs, okay? You know what I mean? Because the cotton gin definitely like sped the influx of it. Because it says here, much of the U.S. population remained in small-scale agriculture, right? You know what I'm saying? And this is like the small-scale agriculture is like you're working your own farms, working your own piece of land, right? Dude, yeah, we're gonna have to do some deep research into this because I've forgotten a lot of this. I know I studied it at UCLA. All right, here we go. All right, you ready? So look at this. Okay. is the share of the global manufacturing powered 23% in 1870 to 36% in 1913. But that's the global manufacturing. I'm still trying to get an answer here. What percentage of U.S. workers worked in factories in 1850? So in 1850, 60% of all employment was still agriculture. Okay? Factory work, though growing, the manufacturing sector, which included factory work, was less than 15% of the workforce as late as 1880. Okay, now I don't know. I'd have to look deeper and see if this numbers, but 15% of the workforce as late as 1880 was manufacturing sector, which included factory work. And that's not just factories. That's manufacturing as a total. That's right. That's fucking not a lot. Okay. That's not a lot of the workforce. You know what I'm saying? That's not a lot of the workforce. That is, and that's 1880. You know what I mean? So even then, a lot of people were small fucking share, like working their own plot of land. 15% of the workforce. You know what I'm saying? And now that doesn't mean that factories didn't exist. It just wasn't like a predominant job, right? But what percentage of factory workers were factories in 1920? Okay? In 1920, 25% of the workforce was manufacturing. And what was it by 1950? By 1950, 31%. 1/3. Holy shit, dude. That's crazy. And yeah, I bet a lot of it depended on where you lived, right? Sure, if you were in an industrial hub, right, in Ohio, fucking Illinois, you were probably a factory worker. But if you were living in Oregon in the 1800s, you were maybe lumber, maybe you were clearing lumber, or you were fucking farming. But dude, that's crazy. But again, fucking they're like
enjoy their jobs. Do you think of any guys going to a coal mine and saying, "Wow, this is my passion"?
And again, who set that system up?
It's not about who set it up. It's how would the system run without it? They need coal. At the time, they needed coal.
Yeah, but at the time though, women could have mined coal. Pearly things, you dumbass. That's just it. They needed coal. The men hated the jobs. Women could have mined coal. I bet a bunch of women would have loved mining coal instead of being raped by their fucking husbands. And you know what I'm saying? Being raped by their husbands and fucking, doing nothing but taking care of the babies that were a product of their husband rapes. Like, seriously, women would have loved to mine coal, but they weren't allowed. They would have loved working in the 1800s in the early days. Like, come on, man. You'd rather not die in a mine shaft or from black lung? Dude, absolutely, Lila. But I mean, back then, nobody knew black lung existed. You know what I'm saying? In the 1850s, nobody knew black lung existed, right? We didn't even know about that shit. The average age of a coal miner, though, the life expectancy is like 49, dude. It's a shitty job. But dude, she's so dumb. God, she's dumb. All right, but good to know. Good to know. Good to know. All right, I'm going to go make some videos, guys. Let's fucking go, baby. Dude, good stream tonight. Good stream tonight. I hate everything about coal, dude. Yeah, me too. Coal sucks, bro. Fuck coal. Fuck everything about coal. Dude, fuck everything about MAGA. Dude, we're never going to forgive MAGA, bro. No MAGA forgiveness. Okay, fuck these guys, dude. MAGA forgiveness is not happening. All All right? It's not happening, dude. You know what is happening, though? What is happening is Radiant is happening. Dude, I want to thank everybody who donated for the dance party tonight, dude. I want to thank Pendulous, who fucking has gone like above and beyond, all the new members tonight. Appreciate you guys. Dude, today was kind of hard for me, guys. I have to say this before I go. Let me get us into edit mode, and I'll tell you why today was hard. All right? Okay. So, let me just tell you why today was hard. Okay? And it's stupid, and don't laugh at me. Okay? Don't laugh at me, but so the way today was hard was this. There's been a news cycle over the last month. I changed my thumbnail styles and to new thumbnails, and I started doing more shorts, and obviously I've been streaming on YouTube. So there was a news cycle though around Epstein and the, you know, a lot of the fallout with Elon and Trump. That was a blow up news cycle. So for the last month, July was like my biggest month on YouTube ever. And it was huge and it was great and it was stupendous. And every video was like a 1 of 10 and then a 1 of 10 on a 1 of 10. And, you know, I got the biggest video I've ever had, a couple like 3 of the top 5 videos I've ever had since the start of this channel all happened in 1 week, right? And so everything was rolling and numbers are up. But then today, every video I posted today was a 10 of 10, was a bottom feeder. And I've had 1 bottom feeder video, right? You know what I mean? Like I haven't had a video, like what has happened is every video for like a month had been a 1 of 10 that would slowly become a 10 of 10 as more 1 of 10s happen. But today, every video I released was just a bottom feeder. And it's not a big deal because they're good videos. It happens. Sometimes you go through after a big blow up and all your videos are like 10 of 10s. But psychologically, when that happens, you're like, oh, dude, it doesn't feel good to have every video be a bottom feeder. So today was the first day where every video was a bottom feeder, except for Jenny Short was a 1 of 10. And I've just been sort of mental all day because when that happens to me, I get really affected by it. And one video, I changed the thumbnail and title like fucking 15 times. Just until it finally got a little bit of play. Dude, I get so obsessive about this shit because I don't just make content. I do make content, and making the content is really important, and building the community with you guys is most important. But what I take being a successful YouTuber and learning the algorithm and making the algorithm work with me really important. You know what I'm saying? Like getting good at YouTube. So when I go through those phases, I'm like, oh, shit, dude. Can't make everyone happy. Yeah, no, it's not about that. It's about the algorithm. You know, live by the algorithm, die by the algorithm, right? It's like sometimes you fucking, you know, you gotta regrind, baby. I am a high achiever, yes. I demand a lot of fucking, you know. And, it does fluctuate for everyone, Lila. It does. Like, what I'll notice is when I'm blowing up, my favorite YouTubers are, not doing that well. And when they're blowing up, I'm going through the 10 of 10s. It just shifts. You know what I mean? It's like it ebbs and flows. And you find a topic that works for you at the time that topic is hot. And, right? Because not every topic works for you, and not every topic is super popular with people. And so you just throw a whole bunch of shit out there and you can't really control what hits. You can only control how well you feed off it when it's hitting, right? And that's where the experience comes in, is when it is hitting, you know what I mean? You hit on more of the videos. Good, man. Hit it up, dude. Just do what works for you. You know what I mean? We're growing it. It takes time, and it's a new month. So it's going to be a new adventure, but today was hard. Today I was obsessively like even if you look, right? If you look at my shit, like, you ready? Look at the number of fucking thumbnails you see. You ready? All of these thumbnails, you ready? Watch this. I'm going to share this with you real quick so you can see my pain. So starting here, all right, let me see. Starting, where is it? Here. All of these thumbnails right there are all for one video, dude. That's all for one video, bro. All those thumbnails are for one video. Dude. Oh shit, bro. Dude, let me see. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I switched it up. 4 more, 9, 11 thumbnails for that one fucking video, dude. You know what I'm saying? Oh God, dude. Stressing. Dude, let's go. Oh shit. I mean, I love it. This is just what I do. I obsess, right? You know what I'm saying? I obsess. Let's go. Dude. Oh, I'm obsessive. I admit it. I'm obsessive. It's just how I am, dude. Dude, it's how I do. But what I don't do, and I'll give you this though, what I don't do though is I don't let those 10 of 10s, like, they don't affect me personally, where I'm like, oh my God, I'm a terrible, time to quit. You know what I mean? It doesn't hit me like that. Like, my personal value is not attached to my videos doing good. But when the algorithm is like beating me and I want to increase the amount of content I put out, right? Like tomorrow, I'm probably going to put out 4 videos, right? Because today was a 10 of 10 day. I'm like, fuck you, bro. You're giving me 10 of 10s. Now I'm going to make more content. I'm going to go back and redo a whole bunch of thumbnails, right? You know what I'm saying? That's how I react. But that being said, sometimes you just got to get radiant. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And sometimes you eat the bar and sometimes the bar eats you. See you guys tomorrow. Let's fucking go, baby. It's about you. Good night. Hey, I just want to change the world. I just want the perfect girl.
I don't want to hang around.
I'd rather be found.
It gets better. I wonder my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. Change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down. I'd rather be found. It gets better. I wonder my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating.
about